Well. Welcome everybody to the Tarda Zones survivors of the Flux panel. Survivors, all right. Chris Chibnall is an absolute clown. We'll all get into it in a few minutes. You know what? I'm actually speechless right now. Because he contradicts himself forcefully anyway, right? Series 11, he said that there was no multiverses, no alternative universes. Now there is. So the Doctor is the timeless child, apparently, but then they're talking about, Detectorium talks about, it's just a confusing mess as well. But I've sent all the emails out, so the only one that's not here is Lee at the moment. So I'll bring on the panel and we'll just get straight into it. I'm absolutely stunned what he's done tonight, even with Una. This man just can't leave Anton alone. He has to do an origin story to everything. And now he's basically ruined Una with the Grand Serpent, which we'll get into. Again, I've posted the video everywhere, but I have said there will be spoilers. So it's across the screen there. So anybody joining us that hasn't seen the episode but plans to watch it, I would say tune out right now. Obviously, if you have watched it, welcome. We got 60 people watching already. I've put the chat on slow mode because of obvious reasons. So moderators, just keep an eye. But we got 60 people watching right now. So if you could do us a favor and smash that like button. If you haven't subscribed before, please do. This is the panel where you'll get different points of view, but I'm pretty sure most of us are going to agree on tonight's episode because it's been a mixed bag so far. But I think this will be the episode where everybody is going to agree. Well, we'll see. You never know. Right, let's bring on our guests. We're just going to bring them all straight on. I don't know what's happened, Lee. I have sent him an email. So I don't know what's going on. Has he watched? If he is, he's probably fuming right now. Well, look, let's bring on our panel, and when he pops in. Right, let's start. We got royalty on the channel. It's the one and only Queen Charlotte.
Hello, everybody.
Next, we've got the one and only Real Super Doctor.
Hey, how you doing?
Everybody seems depressed. This reminds me of the Timeless Child episode. I'll get into it. The reason why I'm not upset is because, for the simple reason is, I've already kind of, put this era in the back of my mind, really. But we'll get into it. We've got Marty joining us as well.
Hello.
And we got Sigma later. And hopefully we will have Lee with us. I have sent him an email. I'll just send him a second one just in case.
Like you said, he's probably in just in a dark room being quiet for a couple minutes after that episode.
Well, we'll get into it. Oh man, I don't even know where to start this week. We normally start with the positives.
Are there any though?
There's one.
I am not shocked, disgusted, fuming, angry, full of rage at the minute that if I come out with what I'm thinking at the minute, I will have to remove myself from this panel. He's just taking massive shit on top of Unit.
Yeah.
Oh, that's just one of the massive S words.
Look, normally we start with the positives, but to this week, let's just get straight into the.
Oh no! Can I be fair? Can I say one positive?
Right, go on.
and that is he finally allowed Craig Parkinson to act.
Yes.
Yeah.
He finally allowed him to be a slimy villain, and that's what that actor does really well.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
So purely on an acting front, he was the only thing I gave a toss about, and was the only thing that I actually thought was good.
I agree. Right, let's just get into what he done tonight. So obviously we were halfway through the episode, and then Una was introduced, and then we see him. I don't even know where to look. So basically, he's just changed the whole origins.
You know what he's done with Unit? Did you see what he done with the Brigadier tonight? Did you see that?
I was going to say, which bloke was supposed to be the brig? I was trying to work out which one.
It was the guy on the left, I think, walking in. But you can
hear Briggs' voice was in the background. You could hear him behind the closed door. They did some audio.
Yeah.
Oh God! Thank God I missed that. Then
the bloke. I don't think that bloke that had the serpent come out of him was the Brigadier. He was.
No, he wasn't.
Because he wasn't the Brigadier yet. He was the corporal. So,
yeah, but the thing is, he's not even a corporal. Somebody even put this up. Chibnall doesn't even know what ranking the Brigadier was. A colonel at that stage, not a corporal.
Yeah.
Relax, Ferdinand. I know you're angry, right? I'm angry with you. Trust me, I am. But I'm just. There's no.
Yeah, and also, I'm sorry. You bring Kate Stewart back for one flipping scene.
In fairness, though, some saying, in fairness.
Yeah, but I'm sorry, that's Kate Stewart. You don't bring her back for one scene, so then she can just at the end of it go, I'm going to have to go dark.
Yeah, and then you throw back to Osgood, like, no, I have to go dark, Osgood, like, help it. Like,
and then snap her phone.
Which basically means he's now got a nice little out that she doesn't have to appear again.
Yeah.
And it was just all. I was looking forward to Kate, and I should have known he was going to do this.
Well, I kind of figured out while I was watching that I said it'll literally be only during the watch along. I said it'll literally be only a 5-minute scene or something.
Yeah.
It was a reference to Corporal Benton. All right, but I definitely heard the Briggs voice in the background.
Yeah,
it was the Brig. Yeah.
It was definitely the Brigadier because even while I was watching it live, I went, "Oh, the Brigadier!" It was definitely the Brigadier. But I did like that scene with Kate Stewart. But I do agree she was wasted. But that scene where she puts the Grand Serpent in his place was just brilliant. I have to be honest. But that's the only positive
Yes, she acted it well, but they made her look really what's the word? Like she hadn't slept in 2 weeks, and she was just sort of. She didn't look powerful how the way she was dressed, or it was purely the acting. But they made her look like she'd been dragged through a hedge backwards and hadn't slept for 2 weeks.
What I don't get about the whole Grand Serpent guy is, yes, I understand he went back to the very start, but isn't Kate not was she not the head of unit? Was she not? I thought she was the boss. So who's he? This is what I don't get.
Oh, sorry. Somebody said she's in the next episode.
Yeah, I think she's in the next episode.
Right.
Yeah, he was the guy that was helping Unit along. He was overseeing that basically at the implemented. He was kind of like a regulator. He'd go in and he'd look at it and see if it was capable enough for what they wanted and all of this, basically. But what his motives are, like, what should just turn nukes on the world? Then we've got 100 people actually watching right now. 100 people.
See the trouble with this episode, it doesn't make sense. I mean, he's jumping from one scene 1 year from another, different eras in time, and then back to the future, and going to the other end of the universe and that, and it's just a complete
it
utter
felt
mess.
like almost he was using scenes like a deck of cards.
Yeah,
it was like he didn't know. But
this is one scene. Do you know, like just going through them, and it just felt like. It's like the whole Yaz and Dan and Professor bit.
Yeah.
Like it's so we're randomly in Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, and they
They-
tried to be funny, and it failed
Oh
badly.
God,
and
they
it
tried to
was
be funny.
cringe.
Yeah.
It was
Oh,
cringe.
that
And
was
then the
that was
moment
very
with Yaz
cringy
and the
about the
hologram
dog thing.
doctor, like the
Oh,
whole
no, but
hologram.
you know what that was?
Yeah,
That was them giving a bit of something to all the shippers. That's what that
Yeah.
was. Even though
It was
for
like
a good
it was
chunk of this
also to move
series,
the plot along
Yeah.
though,
yeah.
because Whitaker was filling us in with the plot because obviously Chris Chibnall doesn't like to actually show it on screen. He just likes to explain it or use people as plot devices to kind of move the plot
Yeah.
along. Just
yeah, but it's like
ridiculous.
for all the scenes they were in, that they were basically, I said, Indiana Jones a treasure hunt,
Yeah.
and so at the end of it, they're supposed to find coordinates for something that's going to be a big battle. So all I got was so they're basically just set up for the next episode.
Yeah.
And if we were saying the politics wasn't bad, the way they treated Dan and the professor,
Yeah,
they were nothing but jokes. They were nothing but
it was
punchbags
done, and it was done for the worst purpose of all
to make
get
Yaz
a
look
cheap
good.
laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, but not only that, to get a cheap laugh out of the audience as well.
Yeah.
Like it was ridiculous. It was ridiculous, and that was the photograph. When they released that photograph, people were worried about that scene. Well, it was as bad as you can imagine, folks. But the old lady, obviously, we found out who the old lady was. So the old lady, surprise, surprise, folks, was Tecto Young. And
The
then,
least imaginative
Shocking.
person it could have been. The least imaginative person.
yeah, right.
I
So
mean-
basically, reconfirmed the timeless chill. Now, Tecto Young still could have been lying to the doctor when the doctor asked, "Was the master telling the truth?" And Tecto Young basically answered, "Yeah, everything you were told was the truth." But I don't necessarily think that's.
I think it's rubbish. I think there's something still more to come with this, and the whole thing with them being outside the universe and two universes. I'm starting to think that the whole Joe Martin thing has come from that other universe,
Yeah,
not from there. And what you were saying there about it being more, more imaginative, and had it been somebody we didn't expect. What if she had to turn around there and said she was the Rani? Like that would have been something different. Something.
No, I knew some people were saying like White Guardian or something like that. Like that
Yeah,
would have
I've
been
seen that.
inventive.
But it's not, everything is just so predictable, and like this here is probably, like, I could just basically tell everything that was happening. You were hopping from one place to another, and you get the idea of what was going on.
Do you know what annoyed me? Tecto Young then basically is spilling the beans to the doctor, right? So we're getting a bit more information. And then what happens then in a couple of scenes later? Swarm comes along, enters
She
the
gets
fucking,
killed.
and then she gets killed, right? And then the fob watch that's there that has the doctor's memories in it, the doctor's so incompetent that when she actually has a chance to grab the fob watch, she doesn't, because in the trailer afterwards, you see that Swarm has it in his bloody fucking hand.
So you know what's going to happen. He's going to destroy it. So we're never going to know these memories that he's been basically baiting us the whole series about.
Have you seen the Next Time trailer?
Yeah.
No, because I was just fed up and a bit depressed. What happened?
The watch is opened at the last clip of the next.
Oh God! So there's the info dump.
Yeah, the watch
Watch
is open.
gets opened. So I reckon the doctor will get back the memories, and then we'll probably say I don't know, but look, what he's done tonight is just basically disrespect Una. I didn't like what he's done there with Una at all. And people might say I'm nitpicking. I'm not. That's just disgusting, man.
Well, no, it's disgusting because he's not set up how the Great Serpent could just waltz into you. I know they had a line about time travel or something.
Yeah.
But it wasn't really explained or set up. He just waltzed into unit and just happened to like get chummy, it looked like, with all the important people he needed to. And then like the guy, like we said, predictably went, "Oh, I'm not going to make you be this position over my dead body."
What was the episode that had Unit in it where he dismissed Unit in one line? Do you remember?
Oh, Resolution.
Down. Yeah, right. So this episode that we're watching, is actually in the past, because this was him winding down Unit. So
Here's
that
another
just
thing.
popped into my head there. But
One thing-
even that throwaway line, now we've seen it, how it went about. It's disgusting. I just don't know.
The
Man.
thing that didn't make sense to me was during. I know you like the confrontation scene with Kate and the Grand Serpent, but the one thing that didn't make sense to me was, and I was saying this to Joe earlier on, how if the TARDIS is there, Kate would have known the TARDIS is there. The TARDIS was in the office of Unit in the 70s, so surely if that is supposed to be the same place, the TARDIS would be there, and Kate would have known the TARDIS was there.
Oh yeah, no, but what year? Because that also made this really confusing because he kept skipping years. So what year was the
This was
confrontation?
1968 was when the TARDIS was there.
Oh no, but the Kate scene wasn't in 1968.
Oh, I know, but if they still have if the TARDIS was in Unit in 1968, then surely they would still have it till 2021. If you get what I mean?
Yeah, but they recovered that TARDIS from the village.
Yeah.
So that was current TARDIS. So that's it's just the more you think about
it interferes with Doctor Who canon, because if the Brigadier had happened to seen it, he would have already known previously it was the Doctor's TARDIS because of his previous encounters with the Doctor as Colonel Lethbridge Stewart.
Because Joe was saying on the stream earlier, I was doing with him, he was like, if that TARDIS is in Unit in 1968 and the third Doctor lands in 1970 and he's trying to fix the TARDIS within season 6 or season 7, then surely someone would have knowledge that there's another TARDIS, the exact same TARDIS is still sitting there.
Or even more, would it not have come up with all the stories we've had with Unit that this fella just happened to be with all the important people, this Serpent guy? This is what this Chibnall seems to think. He can just add his own characters and spice them into history from series and years and ages ago, but they don't fit because, like I said, now Serpent is a big part of Unit's history.
Yeah, and like we never heard of him.
We've never heard of him.
Yeah,
the Briggs never mentioned him. Kate's never mentioned him.
It's very much like Chibnall's trying to rip off Moffat. You know how in the Wedding of River song you saw all those different scenes together, and the way the Doctor was, and it was Winston Churchill was in Buckingham Palace and all that. It's like Chibnall's trying to do the same with all history and all that, and mix it all about.
Oh, and also that such a good cliffhanger. She broke out of that thing in like 2 minutes straight, didn't she?
Yeah.
It's. I just don't know.
I honestly believe that BBC believe that this is a dead horse, and they're just letting it go because they know that RTD is going to come back. And I'm going to say it now. It's looking more and more likely that he's going to reboot the show yet again. There's no way that you can continue from here. There's no way. And I don't think he would waste his time, to be quite honest with you. I think he's going to reboot the show.
When you say reboot, like in my mind, with the way the show is at the minute, reboot to me means starting again, first Doctor. Because if Chibnall's going the way, like at the minute, I don't think this time is child crap. I think he's doubled down it on this episode. It ain't gonna go away. And if it goes the way I think it's gonna go, I reckon the only way he can do it is to reboot it, start the whole thing again.
I don't know, because they did say multiverse, didn't they? So I don't know if that's the Get Out, because they did say that.
Well, that's my only saving grace. That's why I hope that all of this stuff has somehow bled in from another universe. This is my hope.
But if we're to believe Tecteun, which you've got to maybe, if you're being kind, say unreliable narrator here, she said that the Doctor was from Universe 2.
Yeah.
So alternate universe. So basically, the Doctor in general now is from another universe, alternate universe. So Joe is an alternate universe Doctor, however way you look at it.
Yeah.
Because he's made them all like that.
I just think that this whole thing with, is it the case where when they were, Chibnall, the way they could explain this is and just going roughly of what I'm thinking is that the division wanted the Doctor to recruit the Doctor, and maybe by mistake somehow they lifted the Doctor out of a parallel universe. So everything,
Yeah.
all the Joe Martin stuff is from a Doctor with a parallel universe who may just happen to be the timeless child, and that's how all this regeneration energy was extracted.
Yeah, no,
from-
but Marty, that doesn't work because Tattoon was part of the division.
I know.
Tattoon found the Doctor. Tattoon basically
What our
groomed her
memories and
and made her what she was.
Yeah.
They were even sort of not without. They didn't exactly say that line, but that was the inference I was getting. That Tattoon was basically saying, "I'm responsible for everything to do with
It's
you."
just whatever way you try and write around it, there always just seems to be some barrier, coming up with ways to sort of try and retcon this stuff. There always seems to be some sort of a barrier. But
See, what I'm thinking is that what if everything that took place was beforehand with Sasha Dewan's Master was all an alternative universe, because we don't know where Sasha Dewan's Master actually comes in. And what if all those memories are not this current Doctor's memories and nothing to do with the line of incarnations of this current Doctor's memories, but the Joe Martin's Doctor's memories are missing, and the Fob Watch is something to do with her memory, and it's an alternative Gallifrey and everything.
Yeah, but then
That's
why
what I'm
would
thinking.
why would Jodie hear it talk
Yeah.
if it wasn't anything to do with her?
Because she's a mirror image of that other universe.
And they're both
Does that
Gallifreyan,
make
so
sense?
if that's
Oh, no,
Gallifreyan
no, they're not
technology,
So what? So Universe 2,
Yeah.
does she come from an alternate universe Gallifrey? So she technically is a Time Lord, just
Yeah.
not from this
Yeah.
universe. Then
Yeah.
You notice how the Fob Watch, now I know it might have just been a production design thing, but how the Fob Watch looks different to the one we seen from the RTD era.
Yeah,
it's
because
completely
the one in the RTD era is silver, and it's got different Gallifreyan symbols in it.
Yeah, it could just be a production design, but maybe I'm just overthinking things. It looks like a completely different watch, which sort of adds to the whole theory that it could be an alternate universe.
I think that's the hope, at least. I think.
Yeah, because that's the last thing I'm grabbing onto at the minute to hope that this doesn't happen. It's alternate universe now or bust. That's the way it is. For us
I
at the
feel,
minute,
I
and
feel like Chibnall's going out of his way to annoy everybody because he seems to be doubling down on the Timeless Child arc, and he's going down the multiverse route as well.
yeah.
So he's like, right, here's a giant middle finger to all of you.
because he's not even. It's the first time that the word multiverse has been mentioned within the show.
Yeah.
So, like, it's a specific word, which makes me think that there is, which is why the back of my head, it thinks that there is some sort of hope that that's where it's going to be pushed into.
Yeah.
But I just know the way he does things, and knowing how he's done it before, I don't have faith at all.
No.
Yeah, and also I've got a question. So basically, when we got a little bit more history of the division, somehow they went from like a small secret Gallifreyan group to basically having infinite power.
Yeah.
Like, how on earth did that happen? Because that wasn't explained. She just stated that, oh, we were this, and then basically a load of words for big, she said, in like a couple of sentences. And like literally the Flux, they created that. So they're powerful enough to create the Flux. And not just one Flux was the way I understood it. She said there's been multiple waves of the Flux.
Yeah, the implication was that they've done this several times.
Yeah, so that's how much power they have.
But they maybe I'm sort of answering my own question by saying this. The reason they created the Flux because the Doctor broke free of the division and started gaining their own free will and going and saving an alternate, basically doing what the Doctor does, and that's the reason they're trying to wipe out the universe.
To make her come back, to sort of rein her in.
Yeah, I don't know. I was just there was just part of me in the last bit of that episode that was hoping that, I was just shouting at the TV. I was like, grab the fucking fob watch, grab the watch
Yeah.
and run. Surely there has to be some sort of a
No,
pod.
plot had to happen, Marty. We had to get next
come
week's
on,
episode.
Charlotte. We please.
There was plot.
There was plot.
Well, no. Let me correct myself. Exposition had to happen next week. All
there
that
it is.
was exposition. The episode.
There could have been some way where she could have grabbed that watch, and I'm sure there would have been a TARDIS on that ship to get off. There would have been some sort of way to get out of there. Like, it's
yeah, but she did nothing. She just stood there, asked a load of questions like she always does.
Yeah.
And then somehow convinced the Ood, which I don't. How did she convince the Ood suddenly to turn against Tatooine? We know the Ood are basically a servant race. That you can't just say a few sentences and they suddenly change how they act.
Why didn't she take out the Sonic and do something? I know I complain about the use of the Sonic, but she could have Sonic the Ood or something to change it. It's
Or she could have done it for the big tree thing. I don't know, but it felt like I said, so much of that episode was exposition, or well, this has to happen so this next thing can happen. And it's like, once again, we got Belle. Like, what was the point of Belle? Vinder had 2 minutes, and he was just in there so he could get captured with Claire.
It's a huge mess.
You could have took them out of that episode, and it would have made no difference at all.
No, none.
And the tunnel guy. So the payoff finally for the tunnel guy was his tunnels travel through time.
Yeah, he's helping.
Yeah.
Well, he's a good guy though, so that was okay. I mean, at least there was one man in the show that wasn't a complete asshole or Phil.
Oh, punching bag.
Yeah. I'm just looking at Chris Chibnall's name is trending. There's a lot of angry people out there. Everybody's asking where Lee is. I don't know. I've sent him an email, so I'm assuming that he's overworked himself and he's sleeping probably. He'll probably join us for the TARDIS Zone talks when we obviously talk about this again, people that weren't on. So he's probably asleep and he deserves a bit of a rest.
Oh, God love him though. He's going to wake up to this. All the fallout.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I know.
That is going to ruin his day.
God. Just
no, but it's like I feel like there's a lot to talk about, but there isn't, because it was so disjointed. Like, even we've had disjointed episodes before this, but this really felt like I said. You had Yaz, the professor, and Dan doing their treasure hunt, which really didn't amount to anything. Nope. I said you had the Doctor just stood there asking questions, and it was all just so she could say to Tatooine, "Is it true?" And she went, "Yes." And then the Swarm and Azure just popped up in the end. Basically, he basically repeated the cliffhanger from Once Upon a Time, which he just that the Swarm just appeared to basically say, "I'm going to kill you." So that was his whole point.
Yeah, imagine the start of the first episode, because it was going with his hand onto the Doctor to kill. He's going to reach past her and grab the fob watch.
Yeah, so here we go, Jibs. This is how good your writing is. We've worked out how you're going to resolve your cliffhanger.
Yeah. Was I the only one who let out an audible sigh for the resolution for last week's cliffhanger?
Yeah.
Oh, God, I knew that was going to happen. Because they can't have a Dr. Light episode for some reason. And this would have worked as a Dr. Light episode.
It would have. It probably would have been better for it, actually.
But no,
I would have rather them left her in the stone state, and then at the end of the episode have her come out of it, and then the next episode just be like, right, hit us with it. Just if you're gonna do it, just do it.
Yeah. So as soon as she got released, I was like, oh.
Yeah.
But that shows it's like any stakes, he just wipes them out.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just like this Tech-Tune thing even rewrites the end of time. You know how that the last moments of the 10th Doctor, and he sees the woman with eyes covered, and she lifts her eyes, and the woman looks back at the Doctor, and the Doctor knows who she is.
Did anybody else also laugh when she's like, "Oh, the eyes are the same"?
They're not.
And that was
Totally
supposed to be the big clue for us.
Yeah.
And I literally was like, "Love, I still don't know who you are. Your eyes look nothing."
That's not how regeneration works.
It felt very mastery vibe, like the master was deceiving.
That's why I was thinking Ronnie. She was giving me very Ronnie vibes.
Yeah, I was getting that too.
Well, she was full of herself, wasn't she?
Yeah.
Like, even when the Doctor was like, "Well, you've stolen my life," and she's like, "No, I didn't." She was very like.
Yeah, she did.
It was like I was expecting like she was going to start hearing drums or something like that, and you could hear the Saxon music or something like that building up. But no.
But no, she's dead now, because we can't have characters that last more than 2 episodes who know anything about the overall plot.
I just took that as Chibnall trying to erase all evidence of his crime.
Yeah.
but what I don't get is it's literally her and the Ood. Is that all who's on in that place? Just her and the Ood? Because I don't believe
it seems that way. Yeah.
There have to be more.
Oh no, Marty, and it gets better. It's not just it was her and the Ood. That was their head-based quarters, wasn't it? That was the impression I got.
See, from what I understood, the division was on Gallifrey, because all of these leaks and all of the stuff that's saying TARDIS was dying, ancient Gallifrey, that's where I understood that she was going to be sent with ancient Gallifrey.
Well, they started on Gallifrey, and then they basically expanded out and got so big and powerful that they had to be in this in between universe state.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they explained it in the episode, just not very well, but there is an explanation there.
Yeah,
and it is that
it was a Chibnall exposition dump. So I'm not surprised you didn't click that.
Yeah,
yeah.
I just don't know his. I mean, Matt Stevens put up. Una fans are in for a treat. Yeah. We just watch his shit all over fucking Una.
I'm not getting a good vibe from this. This all of this means totally nothing to me. It really does. It doesn't stand with Doctor Who lore at all. It's like Chibnall's just writing things as going along and says, right, I'll introduce these new characters and all these characters, and without explanation and everything like that, and just we'll let the general public accept it all at face value and see if they like it or not.
See, Loki is doing the same thing with a multiverse. Right, so who wrote their story first? Did Chibnall write a multiverse story first, or did the people at Marvel write a multiverse story first? Because it just seems, I don't know. Yeah. Look, it's not working because it's Chris Chibnall.
Oh, yeah. Well, Gorm wants to pick our spirits up. Don't worry, RTD will ignore this S word. He will fix it.
Well,
God, we need to know what you know. We need to know.
If RTD had wrote this episode, could you imagine what we'd be saying about it? We'd be the complete opposite.
Yeah.
We'd be the complete opposite. Because RTD knows what to do, what not to do. And the sooner I see that man back, the better, because I've just reached the end of my tether with this everything now. I've just, I give him the slightest bit of hope. The series started off well. I thought, Christ, the man has got it on track. If he can sort this mess out now, I will walk out and I will give him a round of applause and say, well done, you done it. You kept everybody happy. But no, he's done a complete U-turn now, and he's just heading. It's like we're in a car. Chibnall's at the steering wheel, and we're heading for the fucking cliff.
I don't know what it is. He just seems vindictive, and that we love about Doctor Who. Unit now is being tampered with. He's got his own Origin Daleks, his own Cybermen. I mean,
Angels last week. They're now part of the division. To add on top of everything.
This is supposed to be a guy that's a fan of Doctor Who, and it just doesn't come across in his writing.
No, that's the problem. He's a fan, so he's inserting himself in all the past That's what this is.
Yeah, I know. It seems to be a bit of an ego trip going on here. Look,
Oh, absolutely.
I'm just beyond angry now. I just can't get, you know what I mean? I'm not going to get upset about it. I'm not going to have a rant about it because you know what? It'll do me no good. At the end of the day, RTD comes in, right? He's, as I said, he's going to do his own thing. I don't really care what Chibnall does, man. It's going to be left in the bubble universe anyway. It looks like it, unless he does something in the last episode to completely throw it off. But this ends, man. I just don't really care anymore. It was just poor all round. It was disjointed, like most of this series. Jumping from different time frames, every bleeding scene. Then when like it was getting to the interesting parts with Tectoyum and the Doctor, it started getting interesting, and then he'd switch over to Yaz, Dan, and Professor Jericho, like, and it just threw the tone off completely. This man just hasn't got a clue how to construct a story. He just doesn't. He doesn't know how to move a plot along, so he uses a lot of expulsion, as people say. He just likes to explain things, like just like the Jodie hologram. It's the whole thing. And then I've just seen one of the blokes from Bleeding Radio Times saying, you know, the same with the hologram. Well, if you're telling me that Yaz's feelings are platonic, you know, they're already starting this crap up again as well.
That's what that scene was. It was.
I know exactly what he was doing. He's
More
back
bait.
to the same old Chibnall, right? He's basically fooled us for about two episodes. I think we were all getting suspicious by episode 3 and 4 anyway. But he's just it's like as if he doesn't care. And that's the main thing. And Jodie Whittaker's Doctor has gone back to being a complete idiot. And she says, right, my favorite line was when she said to Tectoyum that she was gonna save the universe. Well, you got basically Yaz and Dan and Professor Jericho doing shit on Earth, right? You got the Calvinista protecting the Earth with their ships, right? You've done absolutely fuck all. Everybody else is doing everything. You're just gonna breeze in with your sonic screwdriver and save the fucking universe. Right, you're not actually going to do any of the heavy grafting, right? You're leaving it to others to do it. Again, he just doesn't know how to write a doctor. He's just incompetent. The doctor shouldn't be leaving it to others. Yet the doctor gets help from others, and yes, there's situations where his companions did come together. Obviously, Journey's End and that other, what was it? Second, the three-parters, I call it, Torn Left, Stolen Earth, and what was it, Journey's End, right? Where he had all the companions helping him. Yeah, the situations there where it does happen, but like he figures stuff out, and he said he actually does the heavy grafting. What? She's done nothing, man, and she's just gonna like. It's just gonna be a scene where it's just gonna be all figured out, man. It's pure laziness. It's laziness. The acting was terrible. John Bishop was actually better this week. I definitely reckon that Angels scene
his first block or his first episode,
first block or something, because he was more natural again. Back to the Dan that we did, like, you know, those, you know, Chibnall trying to do comedy just doesn't work.
Oh, that scene with the guru, I wanted to just go into a room and scream.
I know.
This is not funny. This is not funny, Chibnall.
Yeah, it was not funny. That's what I said. I even said to Jordan, the watch along. Like the first time, yeah, but you keep doing it now. It's not funny now. Like, leave it out. He just doesn't know how to do it. And I'm just glad RTD is coming in. And look, this whole thing next week. Look, the saving grace is that next week is the last one till the Bleeding Festive special. But so 1, male doctor. 2, modern female companion. TARDIS interior fixed. Cannot eventually fixed. Classic villains. Jodie regenerates into Dave.
Yeah, we can't say the rest.
Yeah.
Oh, I think that's canon. Canon eventually fixed.
Yeah. I used to think that Jodie under a different writer, a different showrunner would be passable. But
Yeah.
when you are out intimidated by a bunch of stone statues, you're a lost cause.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That scene when she was trying to be all intimidated to the statues, I actually laughed. I was like,
Oh,
you're not it, love. Stop.
No, it was worse when she was against Tayun, because that actress actually has a bit of weight, can actually pull off her scenes.
Oh,
and we
yes, she
actually
danced
saw a bit
circles around
more
Jodie.
of her this episode before, like, she got killed off.
Well, go ahead, Charlotte. Go on.
Yeah, so that's when she falls. When you put Jodie against any actor of merit, that's when you see, and it was so like a little yappy dog trying to intimidate.
Yes,
like,
that's exactly what it was.
She
She's a
just came
Jack
across
Russell.
as little the yappy dog, and she was, and like I don't know the actress's name, which I feel terrible because she was good, but she just was utterly just like completely making her feel inadequate in all the scenes they had together.
Here's the problem, right? Like, I'm willing to give RTD a go no matter what happens here, right? I've kind of said that all along. But we're about the fan out there that won't be able to get past this timeless children rubbish. Is RTD going to be able to convince those fans to come back? That's the thing. And someone just mentioned it as well in the chat. You know, he still has, after this episode next week, he still has three more episodes. The festive special, obviously, then the other special, and then the centenary. So he still has this. This is oh man.
I just think about it.
And also those specials. Chibnall, can you do a linear story?
No.
Can we have?
No.
Are we going to have in these specials more bitty stories? Because we can't have that for the next.
I think he is going to drag it out to the specials based purely on that image they released for the New Year's Day special of the TARDIS still breaking.
Yeah, but you can. I suppose you could. I don't know if Noel said it or somebody else. That would make sense to drag over because that's your excuse to get a new TARDIS.
Yeah,
exactly. Festive Easter. I predicted Easter as well on the channel. I said it'd be Easter and the centenary. So he still has a lot of. He can still do a lot more damage.
He has got the dates roughly. So you've got the 1st of January. And then if you look for Easter next year, Easter is, give me 2 seconds, technical difficulties. So Easter, Sunday the 17th of April, how convenient, a Sunday night. And then we have got the BBC Centenary, which I believe is on the 16th of October next year. So I'll call it now. That's the dates. That's the dates when those episodes will be on. Because at the end of the day, like, I suppose the thing is, there's 4 episodes. And then it's bye Felicia, like it's good luck. We're done here. But it could have been a lot better. It could have been slightly better.
Yeah.
Especially that recent episode.
I just don't know how much more I can take of it.
But if you think about this logically, that was part 1 of a finale. If you think about structurally here, and he's just, like I said, he spent a load of time on Unit, which, if you really think about the grand scheme of things, that doesn't really contribute a lot to go back to Unit's history. Like I said, unless it's more set up for Serpent, but because he's still not really been explained. Like, we don't know what race he is, why he has that snake power. We just sort of know he's a villain and he's like a slimy git, basically.
It makes no sense, like, to me, like, and what the hell, like, what the hell is Chibnall doing with Daleks, Cybermen, Centaurans, Lepare? I think he's raked himself into the corner with all these villains he has to bring in next week, introduce them, and get rid of them.
I think
Well, you know what he's going to do? He's going to just do a big flat-out battle.
Yeah, I was kind of worried the Daleks would just turn up at the last 5 minutes to set up the New Year's Day special.
Well, it wouldn't surprise me. Like, we were chatting about that whole rumor about Davros appearing in the console room, but what I will say to you is,
oh god,
in the Doctor Who time fracture experience in London, they recently added a new model of Davros, and if you look at that model, it's got a new face sculpt, not like something we've seen before, and it's got the old body from the Series 9 and Series 4. So I would put money on it now that, you know, they didn't just make that new face mask just for the experience. I reckon that there was screen used, and we'll see Davros at the end of next week's episode.
I wonder if they've recast Davros then, if they've had to make
I
a
hope
new
not.
cast. I hope not too, because Julian was brilliant.
Julian Bleach is amazing, but the guy they got to do for that, was it the season 17 box set? One of the season box sets, the most recent one they done.
Oh, David Goodyear.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like him.
Oh, he was great. I'm glad they gave him a chance to do that advert, because he was even better than he was in Destiny.
Yeah. It would be good to, you know, I just thought he was good at that. But yeah, it's, I just, at the minute, it just feels like we're the fandom is in a car. Chibnall has went past the danger point, and we are now heading towards the cliff.
Yeah.
And the brakes have failed. The brakes have failed. we're on our way over the cliff, and it just seems like there's nothing going to stop this now. Like, it's, you know, it's as I say to everybody, to everybody watching, alternate universe or bust. That's my only hope now for this, because I don't know. Like, I turned when I was sitting in the seat when she said, "Oh, I am the woman you would have referred to as mother," and I thought,
Yeah.
So
yeah, and then the way she spoke to the doctor, and basically, yeah, I experimented on you. So what kind of attitude? It was like, had really sinister undertones.
That was another very Rani thing to do, though, because Rani had that kind of attitude. She looked at everything as sort of, you're just an experiment to me, you're nothing more than that. And so I was kind of hoping it turned out she was going to be the Rani, because she's long overdue a return.
Yeah. She is long overdue to return, and, you know, it would have been more sense to me. I just, you know, how are we going to find out? You know, we've more questions here about like Joe Martin. How are we going to find out about how the Doctor ended up being Joe Martin? How the memories were wiped? Like, who's going to give us this big exposition trip next week?
Well, no. You know who wiped the memories? Tattoon did. She said it in the episode.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So unless we have like a whole fucking exposition once the fob watch is open, that we see everything else, which is probably what will happen. We'll probably get like a 10-minute montage of what happened.
Oh, no, we'll get a flashback. What did you hear about months ago?
And see that line where she was like, how many lives have I had? Like, it's like dozens, hundreds, thousands, and I was like, none. You had none. You started off as William Hartnell. You had none.
Yeah, but you know that line he's doing what he's done before, which is he's just throwing stuff back in fans' faces. That whole line is exactly him saying, "Yeah, I have done this. Look, it's going to be hundreds. It could be thousands. We don't know."
I don't know. It's you know, he is just writing himself into a corner, and
I don't think he cares anymore. I think he knows he's gone now, and he just doesn't care, and he's just doing whatever the hell he wants. I think this is why LCD is being brought in. I think BBC probably, before they would have aired this, I'm pretty sure the higher ups probably would have looked at this and said, "Oh shit, we need to get someone in after this because."
Oh yeah, they would have watched it. They would have seen all the stuff once it was put together.
And this is why RTD's announcement was made, and because I don't know.
They would have seen this months ago, and they would have seen it months. Jesus, when it felt well, they would have had that stuff. They probably would have seen a rough cut of this, maybe at the start of the summer. That's roughly when they probably would have got it. But Christ, I don't know. Hey, I don't know, man. It's. I'm in shock. I'm not exhausted even thinking about it now. I'm just like, I just feel. Oh, I just want to go to bed and wake up tomorrow and this not have happened. But it's
but here's the thing. Like tomorrow, I'll be fine because it's just I feel almost nothing a little bit because the episode didn't feel cohesive. It didn't feel like it knew what it wanted to be. It felt like, and this whole do you know what? I really am starting to believe that he originally was going to have 10 episodes, and then because of either the really bad viewing figures or because of the pandemic, it got cut, like we were saying last week. And after watching that tonight, I really feel like he originally he had 10 episodes.
Yeah.
Because he can't tie all these threads.
No, he can't. There's too much. There's too much going on.
It was like whiplash watching bits of this.
Yeah.
What have we got next week? We've got a 65-minute episode. With everything he's brought in there, to me, it's like something you would need. You would need a bloody 2 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's put too much in. Right, so Gorm's saying, so I'm giving the Niners chat. He said, pandemic was why it was cut, but he also went way over budget. Then if this was it, okay, so if he originally then knew he was going to have 6 episodes, why did he put so much in? It's really starting to strain now under the weight of storylines and characters.
Yeah, because more things equals more good.
Because
I'm not pissed off that he's doubled down on the time this children. Actually, I'm just more pissed at what he's done to Unit. To be quite honest, because we had the timeless child, so he kind of already.
Yeah, we've had time to process
our hearts with that and time to process that. But what he's done to Unit tonight is just. So this obviously ties back to the episode where the phone call where the doctor asks where Unit is, and they've been like basically put out of service, let's just say. And I think this is the explanation. I think the Grand Serpent is actually the explanation to why Unit doesn't exist anymore and why Kate is gone.
Oh God! So he's doing his thing of thinking he's filling in holes, then, isn't he?
Yeah. Well, I reckon that's what I reckon. So I think it's a throwback to that episode where that line was when the doctor asked for Unit and he said Unit no longer existed anymore. Right. So this is the explanation to it. So the Grand Serpent basically made Kate go undercover, blew up her gaff, as you know. She went undercover. Right. He takes over. He orders that the nukes then are turned on the Earth's surface. There you go. Unit is being taken over by the Grand Serpent and it's being changed.
Gorm's saying episode 2 and 4 were BBC mandated. Originally more plot stuff that got shunted out of the way. That might explain why those are actually the standouts.
I just can't believe these people.
That makes
little audio of the Brigadier. Well, obviously wasn't the Brigadier, and I was actually Corporal Lethbridge Stewart because loads of people are commenting on it. So obviously, Chibnall has no idea what he's bloody doing anyway. But I didn't look. it kind of was a little throwback and a little Easter egg, you might as well say, and a throwback to him. But I just thought it was cheap.
Oh shit!
Member berries.
Yeah.
What, Marty? You brought something
Marty?
up.
Oh shit!
What, Marty?
Oh my god! Something's just clicked and it all makes sense. It's up on everyone's the favorite forum that you know what, right? So this makes sense. This actually does make sense. Now,
Like what? Read it out.
So you notice on when you look at that with the division and that big place they had on the left side, you had like the orange universe. On the right side, you had a blue one.
Yeah.
You notice how the logo's changing from orange to blue on the official pages, the social media pages?
Yeah.
Oh.
They reckon that's got something to do with it. Basically, trying to hint that, yeah, this universe is done for.
Right.
It could be a whole universal reboot, but I don't know. That's just speculation.
Interesting theory.
Interesting, but not clever because Chibnall's an idiot. But yeah. But look. We're all down tonight. We're not even arguing. We're not even angry. We can't even get angry anymore. I don't know. Look, as Marty said, he started off all right, and I thought, and I did defend it. I have to say, because I still believe, and I'd still go and watch the earlier episodes to this series, to be quite honest with you, because they were decent enough. But the last two, obviously, have been a complete letdown. I just don't. Look, I know RTD is gonna come in. He's gonna do his own thing. He probably will need to rectify some things now. But I just hope he can win back I just hope the British public are won back over. That's me fear that he won't be able to. But if anyone can do it and work miracles, I think it is RTD. And the shows that he's put out over the last couple of years do have a loyal audience. There's no reason why he can't get fans of those shows to come aboard and be fans of his.
But he needs to get the fan base going again.
Yeah.
You can't rely on him bringing in others from completely different shows that are nothing like Doctor Who.
I have every faith in RTD. If RTD decided to cast a cow in the field across the road from my house, I would trust him to do it. Because that's how talented of a writer he is. And like as I say to everybody, if you haven't watched Cucumber, if you haven't watched A Very English Scandal, if you haven't watched It's a Sin, please now when this show is over and there's nothing for you to watch, go and binge those shows.
Because I do need to watch those, to be honest.
They are just, you will laugh, you will be shocked, you will cry. And I've done all three watching those shows, and that shows you he is the only writer I've seen in my life who is able to make me experience 4 or 5 different emotions in one 45, 60-minute setting. He's the only person that can do it. It's he is to me the greatest. I'm probably blowing smoke up his ass here. I don't know whether I agree or not, but to me, RTD in my lifetime is probably the greatest writer of the last maybe 20 years for television, because he just gets it. He just gets it. Everything, he gets it. It's just, he's been a idol of mine since I was younger. He's partially the reason I'm studying media. He's partially the reason I want to work in television. It's him. So, that's why everybody's saying, oh, RTD's going to come back and he's going to make it woke and it's going to be so bad. It'll be worse than Chibnall. Please don't think like that, because he's always been that way. It's not bad. He does woke. yes, he has always been woke, but he does it in a way that's not in your face.
He doesn't alienate your audience
Yeah.
either.
It's because he prioritizes good storytelling and good character development over his politics. He just sprinkles them in nicely.
Yeah, it's like he says in his book. He says if you start off a story with your political idea, you're not going to have a story. He says story first, and then you go back and you tweak wee lines. You tweak the lines after. Whereas if you go in, if you take a page and write down climate change and make that your whole story, well, that's what happened to Orphan 55, because all that done was bait that over your head. Whereas if RTD had done that, he would have wrote the story, and then he would have said, well, what could we put into this that the kids would get and the adults would get too? And he would tweak the online as to how to do it.
Ezra Goldstein says Doctor Who is finished, but Talking Comics with Gorminator says this is RTD in full on command of his brief, who will bring the full weight of his skill to fix this show. We are in good hands. I have faith because I know what's happening. Yeah. Look. I think I know there are going to be fans out there that won't be able to get past the timeless children nonsense. Right?
I don't blame them.
Right? Don't blame us whatsoever. But the thing about it is RTD is going to continue the show. And he's going to do it his way. And, as Talking Comics with Gorminator said, it's going to be something pretty special. The thing that worries me is that, as I said, this whole timeless children stuff. Look, Chris Chibnall, we've already known it was way out of his depth, right? We've also known that he doesn't respect the show, right? It's evident. We've seen it for 3 series now. He doesn't respect the show. He seems to be on an ego trip. He sees problems with the show, in my opinion, and he's trying to fix what he thinks are the problems with this show. In fairness, he had no business of even becoming showrunner. I would say the people that are responsible for him becoming showrunner, which Stephen Moffat talks about, he said that they got him drunk, right? I wouldn't be surprised if there's a lot of regret there, or there should be anyway, in my opinion, because let a man loose on the canon, and I don't care what anybody says out there, right? Doctor Who does have a canon. Yes, it's a complicated canon, and yes, it has contradicted itself loads of times. We know that. But it's never done anything like this. Nobody's ever come in and done something like this. I mean, I don't know who the hell he actually thinks he is to fix problems that he sees and thinks he sees and thinks this is what fans want. We've been screaming for the last 5 years for some great Doctor Who, and we're still waiting. And every time we watch, every time he does a series, it's taken him 5 years to do 3 series, by the way. So we've had to wait. He's made us wait for this every time. And every time he has failed to deliver. That's why I'm glad it's out of BBC's hands now. And it's in with Bad Wolf Productions, and RTD has total control. Obviously, BBC Studios are in there in partnership, but it'll be mostly Bad Wolf Productions that will be calling the shots. And who's in charge of Bad Wolf Productions at the moment? We know who. So RTD will be calling shots. I just look. I will watch what he does, and I think I will enjoy it. But this era has certainly left a sour taste in my mouth. I just don't know how anybody can be as vindictive as Chris Chibnall. And I hear apparently he's supposed to be a nice man. But that's fair enough. He might be a nice man behind the scenes, but Jesus Christ, man. There is no love coming from this series or this era whatsoever.
There is love. It's love for himself and
Yeah.
his own precious creations.
Yeah, but but you can tell how cold it is towards its fan base, its audience. It's sterile. It's just, he started off decent. I should have known. Yeah, I kind of did know, but I was trying to be optimistic. Next week is gonna be
Oh God! If we think this week was bad,
the next
I think
week.
next week's gonna be worse.
Somebody's bashing Moffat now on Twitter.
But it's not Stephen Moffat's fault. Look,
No.
I know Stephen Moffat kind of encouraged Chibnall to take the job, but at the end of the day, Stephen Moffat had his time on the show, and he thought Chris Chibnall could do a job. Obviously, it didn't work out, but you can't any of the blame on Stephen Moffat. At the end of the day, Piers Wenger and whoever else gave the final word are the ones that are responsible for Chibnall getting the job.
Oh yeah, they gave him the power. Moffat didn't really give him the power. The people who've given him the power are the names you just said. And if anybody has to get the blame when it comes to higher ups, it's them.
Even if Moffat did say to him, as he does say, he says that he got him drunk. At the end of the day, even if Moffat told Chibnall that he was taking over, the decision would be left to their boss, basically. So who's their boss? We all know who the boss is, the fella that's been quite vocal about how he's patting himself on the back for bringing RTD back, like Piers Wenger. So at the end of the day, the final decision is down to him or whoever else made the decision to give Chris Chibnall the job. Stephen Moffat can make a recommendation. Well, what are they blaming him? Are they blaming Moffat for that, or are they blaming him for something else now?
They're bringing up the scene where the Brigadiers mentioned, saying that the way, what was it they said? Yes, Chris Chibnall respectfully bringing back Brigadier Alistair Gordon Lethbridge Stewart versus Stephen Moffat's disrespectful mess.
Oh, so it's respectful, but he can completely rewrite unit's history.
Yeah, they're comparing the scene where the Brig appears at the series.
As the Cyberman. Well, in fairness, I didn't like that, and I did think that was disrespectful. But if they're going after him for that because they're trying to deflect away from the bigger picture here, and the bigger picture is that he's shit all over unit. I mean, if your focus is just on the fact that that apparently Chris Chibnall, I thought it was cheap, by the way, just to use audio. I know what the hell? To me, it felt like some memberberry stuff going on. It was
the thing
just.
Would you have wanted them to use CJ? Because I just
no. But in fairness, I'll put it this way: I don't think Stephen Moffat should have done the scene that he did, and I don't think Chris Chibnall should have done what he did. The man is no longer with us. Yeah, it is nice to have the odd, throwaway line and to remember him and stuff like this. But to do this full-blown scenes like this and then to kind of have him shouting in the background, so that's a little throwback to him, right? It shouldn't happen anyway.
We don't need callbacks to the Brigadier. We've got Kate.
Yeah, she's a big enough callback. She even had the whole line about my family. So
yeah, exactly. I really enjoyed that line.
Like, you, as you say, I think it was Charlotte. I think you said, was it the last stream, about how it's always been called back to her father all the time. About how it's always been, remember your father, your father, your father, your father. Oh yeah,
the doctor's always talked a lot about the Brig with Kate.
But that's to say, I know, obviously, it's there's a part of me that's like, yes, it's nice to hear that, but another part of me is like, you sort of need her to stand out on her own and be your own character, and if you want in a scene, you can put a picture of the Brig in the background, or you can do some small wee thing, but this it's sort of like maybe it was the way Moffat done it, where she was always sort of lingering on her father's shadow, and I wanted to stand out on her own and be herself.
Yeah, but then she did. The thing is with Kate, and this is what I liked about Kate in the Moffat era, is the brig was known as military. That was sort of. I know he's a lot more than that, but that was his outlook. That's the way he ran unit. And she had the whole thing in the Moffat one of I'm going to make it about science.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So yeah, it's just wee things like that get on my nerves. But
yeah,
you know, I sort of feel like it just feels very like thinking back on this episode. There's nothing really in it that's stood out to me at all.
No, because it was just random scene after a bit of exposition dump here, a bit of really misplaced humour there, bit of let's completely rewrite Unit's history and insert put the serpent, as being a big part of it now.
Yeah.
The only good points I can make are some of the performances. And that is Craig, the Serpent guy, and
Craig Parkinson.
Dot Cotton.
Yeah, Dot.
What was I going to say? These it'll be interesting to see the ratings now.
Yeah.
I don't really give a shit. Really...
No, you know what's going to be more interesting? I think the AI for this. Do you think this is going to get lower than Once Upon a Time?
Yes.
No, well, the AI jumped back up again. So if it go, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how people see. This is how it works on Twitter anyway. So the UK and the Ireland obviously watch Doctor Who at the same time. So what normally happens is you see a lot of comments from our side of the pond go up on Twitter, and then the American comments start going up then I think an hour later or something, and then they start watching it and try. So it'll be what kind of normally seems to happen is word of mouth on Twitter seems to sway a lot of people, and there's a lot of people like Chris Chibnall's name is trending, and it's not all good. There's a lot of people angry with Chris Chibnall right now. He's managed to do it again, like for the second time. Really, really piss off fans. By the way, you're going to hear a lot of explosions in the background. Don't worry, the country isn't under attack. In the stadium that's outside, they just won the domestic cup. So the fans are all outside. I'm in the apartment block, but I can hear them out on the main street. They're all celebrating and singing "We Are the Champions" and all of that. So you'll hear the fireworks as well in the background. But yeah, they won on penalties and won the cup. So yeah, there you go.
Do you notice how the snake thing that was on Craig Parkinson's character?
Yeah.
There's a lot of people now seeming to push for how that this is somehow connected to the snake tattoo that the third Doctor had.
Yeah.
For goodness sake.
No, I don't want more working in the past of the Doctor, please, Jib. No.
Oh God.
Well, what if the poor Doctor did originally work for Division, and then that's why he started working for Unit?
So that's how they put the mark of the snake in him.
That's why I think the whole it's a theory that the whole Joe Martin thing could be between the second and third, which is that would make sense for this whole snake thing. But there's even people.
Yeah, but I still don't. I get it looks like he's not part of Division now. The snake guy.
I don't know. The Grand Serpent still hasn't been explained.
No, we don't know his allegiances yet. We really don't. And if anything, he looks to me like he wouldn't work for somebody else. He seems very. He even said, didn't he? When he was killing the fat guy, he said, "I used to have people to do this for me."
Yeah.
So it sounds like he at one point he had his own either group or power enough. So for me, he doesn't seem to be the type who would just take orders from the division.
Also, remember the Corsair had a snake tattoo, but it was obviously a different type of snake tattoo. But I just thought I'd throw that out there as well.
Yeah, my first thought was actually the Corsair.
Yeah.
But I dismissed that pretty quickly. It's like, no, it's the wrong tattoo, and Corsair's been dead for a while.
Even people in everyone's favourite forum are now starting to complain that he's given himself too much to try and wrap up.
Yeah.
Do you know what? Let him fail. I don't really care. I really don't. I actually don't. I let him fail. Let him fall flat on his face. You know, he's written himself into a hole anyway. In my opinion, he introduced too many characters. He hasn't developed them properly. The story has been disjointed. Last week it seemed like a filler episode, to be quite honest with you, to kind of break up the last two episodes. It's just scenes seem to be out of place as well. It seems to be poorly edited. You know, it looks nice it's nice to look at. The CGI actually has been an improvement since the first episode. It was actually decent in this episode, but again, it's all smoke and mirrors. It gives you a little bit of info, and it's info that we already know, though. This is the thing. We already know all of this crap. Why do you have to keep repeating it? Give us some new info, and then when he does, then he kills off Tecto Young. Then when she could have gave the Doctor more stuff when it was starting to get interesting.
I've seen somebody suggest that the whole Flux stuff will be wrapped up and that the division crap will carry over into the specials. You know,
I don't really look. At this stage, I really don't. I don't care. I just want the RTD era to start. I just want to forget this era even exists. I mean,
well, the thing I said to you the other day turns out to be true. We're hopefully going to hear something in February, but we don't know. We don't know. It's. Listen, we are max, I think, 6 months away from learning what's going to happen. You know, because they're going to have to start filming by, I think it was May or June next year. So we have to hear stuff soon. We have to hear stuff.
Well, we'll have to know a doctor before then, because it will get leaked, basically, if they don't announce it before they start filming.
Yeah.
I think we'll probably hear who the companion is first, because RTD did that with Rose, didn't he? He announced Billy Piper first before Eccleston.
Well, it'll be Lydia West or Ollie Alexander. That's who I put the money on for the companion.
Yeah. See, because their names were mentioned so much for Doctor, that's what my thought was after I thought about it. I was like, what if they're companions, and that's why the names keep popping up?
Yeah,
and it's just been crossed wires.
He could have the two of them as companions and bring in a doctor.
Yeah.
Because you notice that he's cast Helena Bonham Carter in his new drama that he's making for ITV.
Yeah.
So you remember that the last drama he done before he went on the Doctor Who, he cast a certain Scottish actor who ended up being the main man of his next show. So keep your eye on Helena Bonham Carter. You just never know. You never know. But.
Gorm's just said, I think Gorm's saying probably more than he should, because he's seeing us all freak out. One companion, Noel, he's just put.
Yeah, I was just saying, because the two names seem to be.
Oh yeah, that's what I was thinking.
That because I have been told. I was told that to keep it kind of like
Gorminator.
Quiet, but there you
see
go.
That comment that ends with the Doctor will end with day. Does it end with vid tenant? Because if it does, I'm going to have heart failure.
I don't mind if David comes back for a special, but I wouldn't want him back full time.
No, I don't want him to be the next full-time Doctor. I don't mind for special. Because it would make sense.
For the 60th, more than happy. Beyond that, no.
Yeah, it's you just thinking about this, like the 60th could be the last time we actually see Tennant play the Doctor.
And
I just hope that it's fitting. I think that RTD would be writing for him because, like, I think it's a dead cert that he will be in the 60th. Like, so.
Oh yeah, I think that's it. Him and Matt Smith. I think are a dead cert.
Yeah.
There you go. It's in the chat. I'm not going to read it out, but there you go.
Right.
Oh, in the comments or the private chat?
The comments. Right, calm down.
Oh, Marty, he's gone from being depressed now to like being absolutely excited.
Give me a couple of minutes.
Where is it in the private chat? No.
No, it's in the normal chat, but we just can't say it out loud.
No, Gorm's been very good to us in the chat. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah. Probably said a bit too much there.
I have tears in my eyes.
Yeah, I'm not saying anything, but that's made me happy.
Look. In fairness, though, right? In fairness, RTD coming back. What did you just think was going to happen?
Oh yeah.
Marty, sorry. Oh, you're so adorable right now.
I can't see this in the chat.
God.
Oh, right, I'll write it in the private chat.
Oh my God.
But no, it makes sense. It completely, and it's like,
Yeah, of course.
the amount of presence a certain doctor has had.
Yeah.
For the last couple of years, while Jodie's era has been on air, has been uncanny. The amount of presence a certain doctor has had.
Oh my God.
So they're just going back to what works.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like they've got to. I mean, even with Christopher Eccleston going back to Big Finish. I mean, it's
but think about what he's doing, right? He's giving fans one last swan song for the most popular New Who Doctor for the 60th, and then he starts obviously fresh with his new series. Like, what more could fans have?
He's doing the one thing that could get very reluctant fans back.
Yeah.
I know for some maybe it would be overkill, but I think a good chunk of the fan base that will, especially as if they if they basically market it as a last outing as well, as in this is it, last outing, say goodbye almost. I think that would be really clever for them to do that way as well.
Look, that it makes sense, right? Bringing David Tennant back. There, I said it. But he's not. RTD is this is going to be done properly. This is the thing. And I do agree with Charlotte. I mean, the most popular Doctor obviously was Tennant in the New Who run and written by RTD. So I think it is kind of fitting. I'd love to see other things happen. And I have been told of some things that could possibly happen, but that's not my news to break. But all I can just say is that it will be something spectacular. I've been saying it anyway, that the 60th would be spectacular, but it will be. He's not going to cheap out, man. This is going to be something worthy of his 60th anniversary. I think it could even be bigger than the 50th, personally.
I think it will be. And people in the chat, all I'll say is, what did we learn in the 50th? That the Doctor can revisit old favourites.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, with the curator.
That's all they need to do. That's the explanation for you guys.
So
yes, Gorm, that's why I would love a staged 3. Just for that alone.
I want to ask more, but I don't. So I'm not going to say anything else for fear of something of RTD coming to my house and silencing me. So but I feel like a kid on Christmas morning. That feels. I feel like it feels like Christmas morning now. After that,
Well, that's going to get you through the rest of this, Martin.
Yeah, that's going to get you through next week. Just think about this feeling you have right now.
Yeah, that will get you through next week, and then hopefully the specials as well.
I think it's a smart move by RTD, though. If you think about it logically, right? He would know that fans have been disillusioned by this era, right? And he'd also know that the British public would be disillusioned. So, it's actually a clever move.
Well, it shows that he's going to be. It shows he's going to be taking it seriously. That's the signal it's sending out. It's like, look,
yes,
it's back in safe hands. We've heard you. This is what we're doing.
And it also, think about it, going back to a male doctor straight away after your female doctor. What does that tell you? As a fan, what message do you think that's going to tell fans?
Well, to be honest, that was my biggest fear. I predicted this on the forum that shall remain unnamed. I said if they cast a female doctor, if the ratings go down and they're forced to recast a male doctor, there's going to be an uproar.
Well, there's going to be an uproar. Look, there's going to be an uproar either way, right?
Yeah, it's a no-win situation.
It's a no-win because if he was to cast the female doctor, which we all believe he probably won't, but if he was, just say, and he was to decide to give it a go himself, right? Let's be honest, no better man to try do it anyway. But let's say he did, right? Obviously, then we'd be all in uproar because, well, it didn't work the first time. Obviously, then the opposite that'll happen when they cast a male doctor because, the other side then will be saying, well, you should have really doubled down on the female doctor to prove that this worked, sort of thing. It didn't work. It failed. That's the bottom line. Yeah. And the reason why it did was because you had an idiot actually, controlling everything who hadn't got a clue and who doesn't have a clue how to write female characters. In fairness, that's absolutely ridiculous. He's a writer, right? He's supposed to be this brilliant writer. Yes, he has done some projects that have been a success, but this man just cannot write female characters. And you've had him in charge for 5 years.
Yeah.
Now you've gone back to the person that you put faith in back in 2004 when you relaunched the show. Well, when you officially announced you were relaunching the show.
It's like admitting failure.
It is to us, right? We see it that way. Of course, it won't be seen that way by the other side. They'll try to put a positive spin on it if and when he casts a male doctor, right? They'll try to put a positive spin on it, right? Or obviously a lot of them will throw their toys out of their pram because they will believe that we should double down. And again, I think people need to kind of remember that as someone on the panel mentioned, RTD has always been a woke writer. The difference is that he understands the characters that he's trying to develop within the story that he's trying to tell, and he's writing so much better. He understands male and female characters. I would agree. I'd say he's the best British writer right now on TV. I think we're lucky, to be quite honest, to have him back. Remember, as far as I'm concerned, he doesn't need Doctor Who. Doctor Who needs him. And as Talking Comics with Gorminator has always said, this is a full-blown rescue mission. And if anybody can do it, and as I said, it's smart. Give fans something familiar for the 60th, right? Bring back a favourite Doctor. And then for the Series 14, do something completely different. I think it's a smart move.
Gorm's telling you to check Twitter.
Yeah.
Oh, and Lee, you can tell how good the episode was tonight, considering we spent about 20 minutes actually talking about it. Because that's all you need to know.
This is went from a review panel into the TARDIS Zone talks within the space of 30 minutes. So,
there was nothing to talk about.
No, nothing.
Sorry.
About the episode, but here we'll wrap up the episode. I'm bringing Talking Comics with Garminator on now in a second. But before I do, let's just do the ratings. Just we don't even have to review this one this week. We've already talked about what, so just give the rating. So I'm just going to start off. I'm going to give this a -10. I'm just done with this. I'm not even giving it a rating. That's all -10. Well, that's the rating. So Charlotte.
I'll give it a 1 because poor Craig Parkinson was acting his socks off and was trying his best.
Fantastic. Real super doctor.
I'll give it a total minus because it's a lot of incoherent rubbish. It's been... I just don't know where to start with it. It's just not Doctor Who. It's just nothing to me.
Sigma.
It's a flat 0 for me. Even though Craig acted his socks off, it wasn't enough to save this dumpster fire.
Right. Who else? Marty.
-69. No,
Nice.
Out of 10, 4. A 4. It would have been a 1, only Gorminator dropped that news on me. So, yeah, 4 out of 10.
4 out of 10.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, Lee's just like blooming. Yep.
Right. I'm sending them the email now. I've sent you a message on Twitter in your DMs. Just check it out. Right. We'll bring him on now in a second. 3.4 million AI 76 0 says Raymond Williams. Do you know what? I don't really.
I'm laughing because it's not that I think I shouldn't be laughing. Like, this is our favorite show. We should be saying 9 out of 10 with a rating of like 9 million, and we shouldn't be doing this.
That's what I mean. Look, I'm sick and tired of coming on here every week. Not enjoying a show that's brought us all together.
Yeah.
And, it's despicable what's happened under this current showrunner. I just, do you know what? Sometimes I feel, and I don't think it is. I wouldn't say it is the case, but sometimes I do feel that they deliberately wanted this show to be destroyed so they could start again, maybe. And I wouldn't be, someone mentioned about them going back to the very first Doctor and starting again. I don't think they'd actually do that, but I think they definitely know that this era has kind of tainted Doctor Who, and they have to find some way of, making it popular again. So RTD is back. Garminator, I've sent you the email. Do I need to send it again? Just let me know. Someone has let Chibnall get away with this, and it is Wenger. Yeah. Well, anyway, we're very interestingly enough now we're going to have Talking Comics with Garminator on, and he's going to just come on and have a bit of a chat. That's it, just a chat. That's So here we go. It's Talking Comics with Garminator. How are you?
Not bad, mate. Not bad. How's yourself?
Right.
Can you hear me okay?
I'm grand. Listen, I just want to ask you briefly, did you like tonight's episode?
No, I thought it was terrible.
Someone Oh,
2 seconds, mate. I'm just fixing my speakers. Can you hear me now?
yeah, I can hear you now. So you thought it was terrible as well?
Yeah, I mean, this goes back to everything I heard last year about Chibs had a big mess of ideas and he was struggling to communicate it. Yeah. And the BBC stepped in, and that's why we got 2 or 3 enjoyable episodes. what we got tonight was pure unfiltered Chibs. No harm to the guy, tries his best, but it was just a mess of ideas. And remember, episode 3 and episode 5 did a lot more heavy lifting than they were meant to do. That was meant to be spread out through the entire season. So there's a lot of ideas just getting rammed in there and not really coming out very effectively.
I just thought, I'm not even angry anymore. Not even angry anymore. What did you think of what he done to Unit, though?
You know what? I don't care because RTD will fix it. He'll fix all of it. Trust me in this, right? I'm not going to comment on specific casting, but I've seen how upset a lot of people are. So what I wanted to do, it was come on and just give a wee bit of background to what's happening here. Now, I was told in March that a piece of work had been commissioned for what Doctor Who would look like under a new showrunner. And at that time, I didn't know it was confirmed to be RTD. And at that point, what they were aiming to do was to be for Doctor Who in 2021, 22, 23, what Rose was back in 2005. And at that time, they were taking inspiration from Buffy. Very much now, they're taking inspiration from Disney Plus and The Mandalorian as to how to produce fan favourite TV, but blockbuster, mass appeal TV. And Rose was the starting point, and there was a document put together. Who would the Doctor be? Well, it'd be a male Doctor. Would it be a companion? Yes, it'd be a single companion. Would it be set in, would she be from modern times? Yes. And they went through all the different varieties of, combinations as to the best possible version of the show. And that went everything from designing the TARDIS interior. Would it be classic Daleks? Would it be redesigned Daleks? And everything. And what they came up with was, let's do in 2021 what RTD did back in 2005. But it was seen as a full-on rescue mission. I didn't know it was going to be RTD. I heard whispers it was for a major showrunner. And they were looking at A-list actors. It wasn't going to be, somebody that used to be in Casualty. It wasn't going to be somebody that was a soap opera star. It was going to be an A-list statement actor. Now, the actor I was told at the time, who in principle said they would do it under the right showrunner, was Stephen Graham as the Doctor. Now, that won't happen.
Oh, that's good.
That is not going to happen. But that was the level of name they were going to attract.
Right.
They weren't going out there to get an up-and-coming young... It was someone that's going to come in and say, we need to take this seriously. This needs to be a statement performer. Now, since then, it's come out that it's going to be RTD. Everything, and I mean everything I have heard, and I'm not going to comment on actors, but what I will say is that this is a full-on rescue mission. This is aiming to restore the show to the #1 TV show in the UK. This isn't aiming to be, let's get into the top 10 or the top 5. This isn't aiming to please us fans. This is aiming to fix fandom. This is aiming to please everyone. Now, RTD is going to come in and he's going to fix the mess. He's going to make sure that the show is going to be watchable, thrilling, exciting. He's bringing back his old crew. He's bringing back Moffat. He's bringing back a lot of fan favourite writers. And he's also going to make sure that whatever bad taste there was is going to go away. So whatever Chibs does will not matter. Because the minute season 14 hits, we're all going to be glued to it. Every single one of us. This is Bad Wolf Productions taking this over. These are the people that make His Dark Materials. Look at the quality of actor that's in that. Look at the level of production. This is a worldwide hit. This isn't a small fantasy show. Look at the people. Jane Tranter, she's involved with it. Yeah? Julie Gardner, she's involved with it. RTD, he's involved with it. This is a production company that attracts the biggest names worldwide. We're safe. We're in good hands. Chibs is going to be shipped for the next few episodes. See when that's done, you don't ever have to worry about it again. RTD is going to fix everything.
In RTD, we trust.
Yeah, and so you should, because if what I've heard, even if half of what I heard is true, we're going to be raving about this era coming up. Absolutely raving about it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, but Gorm, the only thing I sort of have, and I know obviously you can only say so much, is
Yep.
I don't want Russell, like Nola said, and I agree, to be spending his time fixing Chibnall's mess.
Okay, I'll put it this way, Charlotte. Do you think RTD's the janitor, or do you think he's the headmaster? RTD's not there to unplug the toilet. RTD's there to run the show. Right?
So he's going to make the calls that need to be made, and that's
he's okay. I'll phrase it how I was told. RTD's going to do what's best for the show, the legacy, and the product. When I say the product, this was sparked by two things. Number one, I was told in October last year that every license they had coming up had more or less said, this is a dumpster fire, we're off. We can't sell our product, we can't sell our bed sheets, we can't sell our toys, we can't do this, we can't do that. The BBC went, how do we fix this? And the licensing went, you need to show us what this is going to look like going forward. And that resulted in that document I spoke about. Okay. Off the back of that, RTD and Moffat have always said, if the show needs them, they'll be back. They've always said that. And at the time, they were trying to get people like Neil Gaiman, Neil Cross, who else was it? Another showrunner, J. Michael Straczynski. They spoke to a lot of people about this. Straczynski's admitted this publicly, and it came back to, how do we fix it? RTD came in with a rescue plan. Everyone looked at each other and went, yeah, it's a no-brainer. Make it happen. That's where we are.
Does, and I know you mightn't be able to tell us this,
Yep.
but would RTD now be sort of in a position where he's going to, he might stay for so long and then, go into...
I can't comment on that.
Yeah. Or
okay, what I will say is, you know the way every time Lois Lane falls off a building and Superman catches her?
Yeah.
RTD's Superman.
But I was just sort of thinking as in my mind, I would want him to be a sort of Kevin Feige figure, whereby...
You said that. You said that. I'm not contradicting you.
Yeah.
Right.
But that's just, my thoughts and what I would want is that he would be that guy.
You've got to remember that back, and I got this from someone else, so this is not my scoop, but there was a very good chance that there was going to be a safe pair of hands taking over the show for season 11, which would have retained maybe an older doctor. And then at that point, it would have handed over to a new regime who wouldn't have been Chibs. That didn't happen. What's now been looked at is who is going to be not only a safe pair of hands going forward, but who is actually going to keep the show at the level it should be at. Because everyone has seen when the show dips, the public aren't there.
Yeah.
Because it is a very niche thing. So what they're now saying is the approach they're taking is not only do we need RTD back, we need a blockbuster showrunner and a blockbuster actor. And there's serious money getting invested in this thing. I don't get story spoilers. Most of the stuff I get is, we were filming today out in a wet moor. It was bacon and egg for lunch. Tomorrow it's going to be steak pie and chips. That's 99% of the stuff I get. But what I also get is amongst the professional fan circle, this is what the gossip is, and a lot of the time it turns out to be quite bang on. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the stuff. I get the Jenna Coleman thing for Sandman months before that happened, months and months. I heard about this whole reboot thing months and months before it happened, and I'd said to you, and I said to another person as well, look, guys, this is what I've heard, and it's came out to happen. So there's a lot of things that have been done in the background. So I hear people getting upset, and I hear people saying, look, he's screwed the show, he's done this, he's done that. Whatever Christian is will not matter.
Has there been any word on what way Chibnall has taken this? Has he
look at about as well as the 10th Doctor took something not been fair.
Yeah. Yeah.
You've got to remember that both him and Lady Wits. Now, this is what I'm saying here. I'm making up, and it's totally rumour in case any lawyers are hearing. Both them, I think, at one point said, "We're done. We're off." You know, because they didn't get creative control. Fair enough. They're professionals. I don't have an issue with that. I don't think he took it very well, is what I've been told.
Come on.
Well, think it this way, right? You're a young football player, and you sign for Man U, and you're replacing Roy Keane, and you play in the midfield for a few seasons, and you're not really having the same impact as Roy Keane. Roy Keane comes back a bit older. He can barely walk. He's got grey hair. He just says, "Nah, so that's my jersey. I'm playing now," and everyone applauds. How would you? That's kind of what's happened.
I love these analogies.
Yeah, listen, and this is like, I hear a lot of people been really nasty about Chibs. Everything I've heard about this guy is he's a lovely fella. He's a genuinely nice man, and he treats his people very, very well. What we've all got to remember is, as much as we don't like the product, he's really not doing it out of malice. Just take that as fact. He's doing what he thinks is unconventional, challenging, and not stereotypical science fiction TV. The guy is genuinely doing his best, for real. Yeah. Other people involved in the show, who I won't name, they maybe don't give a flying and are just there, for the career. Again, I don't have a problem with that. But
so basically, what he's doing is he's trying his best scorming out our, but it's just his best. It's just not good enough.
I wouldn't even say it's not good enough. It's just not connecting.
Yeah.
He isn't suited to this type of telly.
No, he's not.
What he's very, very good at is, and if you go watch his version of the Great Train Robbery that came out about 8-9 years ago, that's brilliant TV. It's got great actors doing great performances. It's got Jim Broadbent in it. It's fantastic telly. This here, I mean, he didn't get his first choice Doctor.
No.
Olivia Colman was his first choice Doctor, and she told him to F off. Right?
She did the right thing.
About Vicky McClure in the mix. Was that true?
What's that, man?
I heard rumours that Vicky McClure was in the mix at the time too. But I suppose line of duty and all, she was probably far too busy with it. I'm sorry, mate.
I'm struggling to hear you. I'll put my volume up.
No, you're okay. I was just one of the rumours I had heard a way back about Chimnall was that Olivia Colman, Jodie Whittaker, and Vicky McClure were in the mix. But I suppose Vicky McClure was probably too busy with line of duty to.
Yeah. It was. Colman was who he wanted. She told him to F off. He shot himself and went, right, I need someone I can trust.
This is what I've always wondered, right? If his first choice turned him down, right? Was it would it be the reason because she would have read something that he had written, or is it the fact that she just didn't want to be the first female Doctor, see it as a kind of a token?
She doesn't want the attention that came with it.
Oh, right.
That was it, right? That was it. If you look at, I'm trying to think.
So she's a kind of private person, even though she's a celebrity. Like she tries to keep her private.
Yeah. I mean, what I was told was basically, there's no way in hell she would sign up to be part of something with that level of profile. She hadn't read the scripts or anything like that. But you've got to remember that when Moff did season 5. Matt wasn't his first choice Doctor. They'd cast another Doctor in it for that, and that was Patterson Joseph. And the BBC, basically, they went along with it for a while. Then they got cold feet. They had to scramble to recast. Moff went to both Cumberbatch and Martin Freeman and went, look, lads, I need you to pull me out the jam here. And they went, no, we ain't touching that with a barge pole. And then they had to go through the casting process, and that's when they got Matt.
So it's sort of a miracle we got Matt then.
Yeah.
Moffat always gave us a great doctor. But
Well,
yeah,
he was a great doctor. Matt Smith turned out to be a sensational doctor, actually.
He did. I was dead set against Matt when he was cast. 'Cause I've no idea who he was. I thought he was too young, and then he smashed it.
Yeah,
He smashed it in the first episode. Like he had it in the first episode, in the very first scene, but the scene that kind of where he truly announced himself, where he was up on the roof with
that was his third episode. He filmed that third because he did the Angels 2-parter first. And here's the thing, right? If you watch season 5, he's not quite as polished as he is in season 6 and 7. You know, by the time he comes back, they'd give him a haircut. They'd kind of slightly improve the quality of the clothes. You know, they'd done that. He was much better just because he was going for he eventually, the original plan would have been to give him sort of Hartnell style hair. So his hair would have kept growing through season 5, 6, and 7. That was the original plan. And you can see they did that with, you know, Capaldi in the 12th. But Mark was great. He was brilliant. But getting back to RTD, the BBC are fully aware. They are fully aware this era is not working. They know they've had problems getting this thing produced behind the scenes, 100%. And they've turned to one or two men, and actually, the one guy that would have got blockbuster ratings. Moffat, they wouldn't. A, he doesn't have capacity to do it full time. B, he's still knackered, and C, he's not ratings blockbuster. RTD is 100% ratings blockbuster.
Yeah,
Bring with them the type of people that will get fans and non-fans invested. So I know everybody's upset about tonight, but I just wanted to come on and say, look, trust me, RTD's got our back. It's going to be fine.
So there's so much stuff I want to ask, but I'm afraid to ask it because you were like, can't say nothing, can't say nothing,
Okay.
can't say nothing. But is there like a time frame for when we like would start hearing about the new?
I'm not touching that one with a barge pole. I know what it is. I'm not commenting on that one.
No bother. What else was I going to say?
You've got to remember one thing.
Yeah.
Negotiations are happening just now.
Yeah.
For season 14. Perhaps, potentially, for the 60th, negotiations have happened and things have maybe been put in place already. Oh, yes.
Oh, yes.
But for season 14, they're just working out just now. They're hiring cast, they're hiring crew, they're getting designs done. They've not even properly started scripts. I know there's been an outline spoken about. And I'll tell you what, there's one thing I can tell you.
Yeah.
I've heard this privately now. I don't think this will happen, but I'll give you a name of someone who is on the list for a one-season doctor if they cannot get their first choice.
Go for it.
Andrew Garfield.
Wow.
Wow, really?
Interesting.
wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now, I was told this within the context of this, and this is the context for you. He knows who he wants for Doctor 14. And things may or may not go to plan there. But if they don't, he's put together a hit list of, right, who is the very best people I can get? Because he's kind of got a plan what he wants to do with 14. But if he's got to rejig that, he's going to go for megawatt star power. That's just going to make everyone sit up. And there's some names in that list. One of them was Stephen Graham. One of them was Andrew Garfield. And there's even, and this is a bit of an exclusive, there was talk a while ago of a film, right? Now, what? No, right, wait, I'm not saying that's happening.
Yeah.
But one of the discussions that was had is who would RTD like as a doctor? And this is a name he said, if they could get him, this would be great. Right now, this is not happening, but this is the level of guy he would attract for a movie. Tom Hardy. Right? These are the levels of names that are getting discussed. Right? Now, the Tom Hardy thing was, I heard that from a pro who basically said that, you know, they're speaking about how the show's got to be high profile now, how it's got to be a blockbuster name, and they went through all the different permeations of what that would look like. So Here's a one-season blockbuster high-end actor. So could we get Andrew Garfield? In the same way, could we get Jeremy Renner for Hawkeye? Right? And that was, if we could, we've got the money. Could we get Michael Sheen? Yeah, of course we could. We've got the money. All right, who would we get if it was a movie? Oh, straight away, Tom Hardy with the Doctor. Straight away, that's who we'd have. So imagine Bane in the TARDIS, right? And that was kind of where these discussions came from. Now, that's not happening, but what it is an indicator of is they're thinking big.
How serious they are as well. Like they're not.
Well, yeah, that's it. That's it. No, you've hit the nail on the head there. They're deadly serious about bringing this back. I'm not saying that they're going to go out there and get Andrew Garfield, but they have said he would be great if they could get him. But they know who they want. They absolutely know who they want. Now, I've heard 3 or 4 names, and no, I'll be up front. You've heard them as well. We can't say anything, right? We cannot say, but they're A-list, right? They're massive A-list actors. Now, for the companion, a lot of the speculation we've all heard is true. Allegedly. And I won't mention names. If that does not happen, he has got a very, very good idea of what he would do with the companion. But he knows what he wants to do there. And what he does want to do is make the companion relatable, engaging. It's not going to be a bit of tit and ass. It's going to be a proper character. So all this stuff we've seen in the past few years where, can I just say something, Ryan? For all the slagging that young lad got for his performance, do not blame him. Do not blame Tosin Cole. That lad was promised, you're going to come in here and you're going to be in primetime telly and you're going to do a 21st century modern, thoroughly rounded and developed portrayal of a young black man in Britain. He was sold a really meaty part, and what he was given was Jar Jar Binks in the TARDIS. Right, yeah. And listen, don't be laughing at that. Everyone said, he was bored, he was looked angry, this, that. Yeah, he was pissed off. He was pissed off because he was promised a really meaty part, and he was made to look a tit in national telly. To the point where they had to have an on-air reconciliation between him and one of his castmates. If you think to that very awkward scene last year in January between the Doctor and Ryan.
Oh, I'm just cringing thinking of that scene.
Yep. You know what I mean? It was like, that guy was thoroughly pissed off because he was promised a really meaty part and he was given shit. He was given absolute shit to work with. Bradders is just a professional. He was there, been like, yeah, I'm just gonna turn up, do my job, have a good time, and bugger off. But what we've kind of seen is, as it's went on, they've kind of skewed things more towards 13 and Yaz. And fair enough, neither Whittaker or Mandip Gill are bad people. They're just professionals there doing a job. They've got no real attachment to who and its legacy or anything like that. They just want to get in, do a job, get out of Dodge. Right? That's what it is. But they've certainly done a lot better fleshing out John Bishop than they did Ryan, and they certainly have done a lot more to support Bishop in terms of giving him a character.
The first 2 episodes, that was more backstory than any of the other 3 companions had. I do think he is suffering a little bit now in the story, but maybe that's because there's so much going on. It's just hard for him to have anything to do now.
Yeah, they're all suffering. Remember, this was meant to be slightly longer in terms of episodes as well. It's a truncated season, and a lot of stuff had to get rewritten in the fly and reshot and done COVID style. The pandemic had a massive impact on this, and we can't forget that. So when we say some of the effects are a bit ropey, yeah, some of them are purely because I had to film it in a cupboard in front of a green screen. Some of these people we even have to film their scenes separately. What A-list actor will go on the show now?
No comment.
Yeah, no.
I think he names in terms because of the state of obviously what the show is in now. I think that's what they mean.
Yeah, they're asking the wrong
what actor
question.
would take it? Would they perceive it as a poison chalice? Basically, I think is what High Desert.
No, that's the wrong question, mate. The question they should be asking is what A-list actor would be willing to work with RTD. The answer to that is a lot.
Actually,
yeah, you got to think about it. It's not Doctor Who in a way, which is weird to think about. But it's working with RTD. That's what's going to be sold to agents more than Doctor Who.
Sell this. Yeah.
Think about it this way: would Christian Bale have been Batman if it wasn't Christopher Nolan making it?
Yeah, that's it.
It was like Christopher Eccleston wanted to do Doctor Who because Russell was writing it.
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly it. Yeah, you've hit the nail on the head there. There's so much that he is want to fix. And by the way, he's wanting to do things now that he couldn't do 10 years ago.
Yeah. One would assume, again, I don't know if you can say anything about this. One would assume that there's going to be a new look, new sound, etc.
That's a kind of good way of thinking of it.
Yeah.
It's you've got to remember it's like I need to watch how I say this.
Yeah, logo.
He's not just looking to recreate a nostalgia piece for his era.
No,
he's looking to take his era and what worked, and say, right, what does that look like in 2023? That's what he's wanting to do. In the same way that when he did, Banana, It's a Sin, and what's the other one? Was it Tofu?
Cucumber as well.
And Cucumber, yeah. Well, that wasn't a remake of Queer as Folk. Mm-hmm. That was how would I have done Queer as Folk if I was writing it now. So that you've got to imagine the relationship between those shows and Queer as Folk is how New Who is going to be to the first New Who. Yeah, that's how to think of this.
Yeah.
And I also think as well that we're now in the era of streaming. We're now in the era of mega budget TV. One thing I can say is, and no, I've said this before and I've said it on air, everyone's always wanted the TARDIS to be an actual limitless environment, but they've always been constricted with the sets. Imagine a TARDIS that was filmed with the same technology they use for the Mandarin or the Mandalorian.
Can you just imagine that technology and a modern style?
Well, they could create their own landscapes and all, create their own worlds. That's the thing. That's how expansive this technology is. So you can do a lot more on a cheaper budget as well, though.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Monday morning, they turn up. They've got the console unit there in the middle. Give the actor something to work on. Right, we'll take the console unit out. We'll push a button. 20 minutes later, they're standing in Scarrow. And they can walk around. They can maybe interact with some of the sets, but it's going to be an actual environment they can be in. They can see, they can touch, they can interact with it. That's what they're looking. That was been budgeted back in March. They were looking into what that would cost and how you could do it in the UK.
Yeah, the kind of just sort of like a massive studio, like a massive screen studio.
Yeah. That's exactly what they're looking at. So they'll mix and match that with real locations. That's not to say that a quarry is not going to be used anymore because they will. That's always.
No, we have to have a quarry back. Yeah, we have to have the quarry now.
That's what they're looking to do is totally modernise this. So when I see in Twitter that a lot of people are really scared about the future, RTD's got her back. There's clearly some stuff I can't say that I've heard, but this is a lot of this is an open secret, right? But we're in good hands. I don't ever get script or story spoilers, so that's not going to be out there. But if everything that they're planning happens, or even if half of it happens, it's going to be fine. At the very worst, I think it's going to be the same level of quality as season 1 with Echoes. At the very worst. At its very best, I think we could be looking at season 4, season 5 level quality. But with a budget. Done.
Yeah, I agree.
So,
And I would actually even go as far as to say that if as Gorminator says, things he's heard, things I've heard,
Yep.
if any of them are true, it's going to be something absolutely spectacular.
yeah, the one thing I will say about the Doctor is we'll never ever get a grumpy Doctor again. We'll never get a Capaldi style again, right? The BBC shit themselves when that happened. They absolutely shit themselves when season 8 went out. No need, because he was amazing. But the Doctor will be more of a, how can I put this? I think the Doctor's probably going to be a much more engaging. He's not going to be an explain machine. He's going to be all right, do you want to hear something? Do you want to come on a journey with me? Let's go in this big blue box and we're going to do cool shit. That's what the Doctor.
He's going to be an adventurer again. He's going to be. I just want to see the universe. I just want to see what's out there and have fun.
And then stuff just goes down, and he just has to do his thing. Like, that's what we want. I just want. That's it.
Here's the big takeaway I had. No, when that document was kind of getting drawn up, one of the things was they said, break it into 2 parts. What was the political and social environment like back in 2005? Well, a hell of a lot more optimistic than it is in 2021. Right?
Yeah, right.
That's number 1. Number 2 is political who off the table? And the answer was no. God, well, the beast below was a political who. The one in New York when it was all the smog, that was political who. For Capaldi's big speech, that was political who. Some of the new adventure novels were political Doctor Who. How they're pitching it is, if we get political and if we get intelligent, it should be enough to make a 10-year-old think, but not enough to make an adult turn off. That's what they're aiming at. And as Moffat himself said, the Doctor can be anti-Tory, the Doctor can be pro-LGBTQ+, but he should never do it in such a way that someone who just wants to watch a TV show that isn't is going to throw the remote control at the telly. So the underlying message is don't be a dick, but at the same point that they don't want to make people feel bad in their own homes. And I don't think we can underestimate how much of an impact Did You Hear Me had. The BBC were absolutely stunned by the reaction to that.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of the most vile pieces of entertainment ever put out. That was as borderline offensive as Jim Davis and some of that stuff. That conversation about cancer was one of the most horrific things I've ever had in the show.
Yeah.
And the backlash to that is still been felt.
Yeah, it still makes me angry. Still makes a lot of fans angry, but they don't seem to get it. That was a very sensitive topic, and it's a disease that affects a lot of people, and for them to just kind of dismiss it the way they did, like Graham O'Brien was looking for a bit of hope there from the Doctor, and instead it was like, well, I'm socially awkward. Like that was
that was a bad move.
You don't think they're going to bring that up when he returns in one of the specials, do you?
Nah.
I hope not.
No, I don't.
I hope not.
No.
But he seems to be doing scenes with Bishop a lot, so maybe he won't have a lot of scenes with Jodie.
Yeah,
I think if anything, it's going to be a spinning head scene,
There's one last thing in my head. One man who I am hoping makes an appearance. I know you can't say if he is or if he isn't.
Yep.
But I just want. I'd love him to turn up. Barman.
I would say the chances you've got more chance of getting Eccleston back.
Yeah, that's what I
remember that Vinder. That character was meant to be Barman.
Mm-hmm.
Now they've obviously retconned some of that plot into something else, but that was meant to be Barman.
Yeah,
and there was meant to be, from what I've heard, initially a lot more kind of we've seen that there's been Moffat shout-outs with Weeping Angels. There's been RTD shout-outs with the Ood. There was a BBC mandate. If you cannot write what we want you to write, at least put links in to these eras. So that's a lot of the reason why they're there. It's to kind of say fans, look, see, the show you loved is still there. So obviously, the stuff with Barrowman that get kind of hit in the head, and I'm sure there was another companion who were trying to write in, but they just couldn't make it happen logistically.
Uh-huh.
So I mean, this year is going to be what it's going to be, right? I've not enjoyed it. Bits I've downright loathed. I thought there was a couple of episodes this season were really good fun, but ultimately, we've got 4 more episodes to go, right? I'm not expecting anything good. I think at best it'll be enjoyable but disposable. We're all about 2023 now, and the BBC and Bad Wolf, they're all about 2023. I think they're going to do things that are not only going to get the fans back inside. In fact, I know they're getting and I know for a fact what they're going to do will get every single fan tuning in. Right? You think of the anticipation you all had for Rose. Could you sleep the night before? No. Were you, it's got 15 minutes to go. Please be good. Please be good. We know it's going to be good. Right? The show's back. We're a couple of years away. But by this time, we'll be sitting in 2023, all of us will be sitting here, hopefully, discussing how much we loved the 60th, how much we like the look of the new Doctor, and how much we cannot wait to season 14. That's happening, right? So, it was 3 years ago, we all sat here and was really miserable at season 11. More time has passed since then than has to come before we've got the return of RTD, right? The cool stuff will be happening soon. The announcements will be happening. A rough idea of what RTD will be doing is happening. We're fine. We're in good shape going forward. We just need to ride out the storm. Think it this way. We're a football team that's just sacked our manager, but we know we're getting Pep Guardiola coming in for the start of the new season. And we're going to see who his signings are going to be. That's where we are, right? So, everyone, deep breath. We're fine. We're in good hands.
I'm suddenly feeling rejuvenated.
Yeah,
So
trust me.
it's like the scene in the 50th when Matt's doctor says, "You have hope." That's what you have. We're basically the time lost council, and the doctors are saying to us, "Have hope. Come on, we're going to get out of it."
Yeah, and a certain actor will come back and go, "No, sir, all 14."
Oh yes.
Not Capaldi, he's not back, but the 14th Doctor will be. We'll know about them in due course, and just everyone deep breath. Let's just enjoy what's coming up, because I guarantee the ride for how we're going to get there is going to be better than anything we've enjoyed in the past 5 years. So, all the negativity, all the infighting, all the anger, all the resentment, let it go, guys, because we're away to see something really cool happening. What we've got to do as fans is basically, and excuse my language, we've got to shut the fuck up, let the new team come in, get their feet under the table, fix the mess, and enjoy. Because all this badness, all this bitterness is going to go away. Everybody is going to love the new era. Jodie fans, Chibs fans, newcomers, folk that have watched it for 60 years. Every man, woman and child will be tuning in for this thing. As I say, it's a full-scale rescue mission. And he's going to do it.
You're going to laugh at me when I tell you this. I'm at university at the moment, doing media, and next year's my placement year.
Okay.
And I have applied for a scheme which, if it went my way, could see me end up being like a trainee in Bad Wolf.
Happy days.
So
well, if that happens, you'll probably get to meet a lot of the people I speak to.
I would have to. You would have to sew my mouth closed.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. I will never drop a story spoiler. I don't really get them, but I would never do that. and I would never drop anything that's not been said publicly. Half already been said publicly. So you guys haven't really heard them tonight that's not been spoken about publicly. I would love to see this happen, But what I will say is that there should be no story spoilers coming out for this thing. Any story spoilers you hear, ignore them. Enjoy the show. But I hope you get your placement, mate, because that'll be a great placement for you there. They're a thoroughly professional setup. You look at the people they attract and you look at the quality of their work. You'll be working with the best, and you'll be working with world-class people.
I think it's just the thought of like actually, if I ever did actually see the man himself, RTD, I think I'd freeze. But
you know what, he's used to that. I'll give you a story that the guy that gives, or the lady that gives me my information, they were on set with him on a very wintry and blustery shoot, and at the end of the shoot they always go over and say hello to the fans. And there was a lassie there that just burst out greeting when she seen him straight away. Could not stop crying, could not do this. And apparently he spent about 25 minutes just calm down. It's okay. You're fine. I'm just a writer. And she's like, you're my hero. I want to be a writer. And that's the kind of guy he is. He's a big warm uncle, right? So yeah, he's meant to be immense. He's the best in the industry. And you've got to remember that we're getting the best in the industry back again. We're not just getting some guy that wrote a hit TV show. We're getting some guy that's got 30 years worth of quality under his belt.
I suppose now would be the good time for me to drop the bombshell onto the cast.
Aye.
I have I've written them a letter.
Happy days.
I've written them a 3-page letter, and I know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody what was able to put me in contact with them.
Happy days.
The letter's been sent. So I would hope to hear back at some stage, but if I do hear back, you'll know, you'll hear.
Yeah. He's busy as fuck. Yeah. But he always does his best to try and, particularly if he gets he gets letters through writers all the time. All the time. And he's meant to be very, very good at saying, look, I can't read your scripts, I can't do this, I can't do that, but this is how I would craft my career. And he's like, write anything, do anything, just write. And he's meant to be a really decent guy for passing on his knowledge, Listen, we've always had good writers and showrunners and stuff. Even Chibs, we don't like what he does, but he's meant to be a gentleman,
Yeah.
The fact that we don't like his stuff, it's neither here nor there. He's taken on the most high-profile job in TV, and you've got to take your hat off to him for doing his own thing. Whether we like it or not isn't important. What's important is that he was given the space to do it and craft the show he wanted to make. Not only is RTD going to get that level of respect, he's just going to be told, "Look, fix it." That's it. Just let these professionals do what they do best. Because that's the only way we're going to get our show back, and we have got our show back. We, in inverted commas, have been proven right. There's things you can do with the show, and there's things you can't. Just because we're right doesn't mean the people that enjoyed it are wrong for enjoying it. These people aren't the enemy. The enemy is the fact that during the Moffat years and the Capaldi years, the BBC underfunded it. They cut the budget. They didn't allow Moffat to do some of the things they want. They forced him to do that in Sherlock at the same time. They didn't promote Capaldi the way they promoted other doctors. They didn't allow Moffat the space to follow through in his plan with the 12th Doctor. They're the people to get pissed off at, the suits. Yeah. Don't get pissed at the guys that are just doing their best, because ultimately, Chibnall's just he's just a soldier. He's not the top brass. Chibnall does not have the level of pull that Moffat did or RTD did. They give him enough rope because he'll walk away if he doesn't get what he wants to do. But he's not Moffat. He's not RTD. And I think 2023 will prove that to a lot of us. So, yeah, guys, we've got our show back. Let's go forward. Let's be positive. Let's enjoy, because ultimately we're all going to love what's coming down the line.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's it.
Even you know.
Yeah, hopefully. Well, look, I'm still optimistic.
Here's a question, mate. See, how's the TARDIS room going to cope if you've got to be positive about Doctor Who every week? We're all just being going mental for 5 hours going and transmit. You know, if you've got to be happy every week about Who, we're fucked.
Yeah, I know. It'll be a change, won't it? But look, that's all I've ever wanted. I've just wanted Doctor Who to be respected, to be written the way we know it can be, and to have stories that thrill us, have us at the edge of our seats, scare us, all of those things that we're used to. I am optimistic about RTD. I really think he can pull the trick a second time, to be quite honest with you.
He's not going to go for the same stuff, but he'll absolutely, he'll absolutely pull out the hat. And here's the thing, from my point of view, I'm delighted that you've got a presence in YouTube, because if it wasn't for YouTube, we'd have to look at your OnlyFans, and that is one thing I do not want to see.
But that's the thing, like RTD, like he's going to come with like a whole new approach, but he'll cherry pick the bits that worked in the first era and take them.
Yep. Yes, that's what he's going to do. I mean, remember, see the people on TV that matter, that make the big decisions. Mm-hmm. They all say yes to RTD. Every one of them, right? Him coming back it's a bit like saying Martin Scorsese said he's going to direct a Batman movie. Everybody's just going to like, Marty, just go do your thing. That's equivalent of this, for me, we're getting probably one of the best showrunners of all time, and he's agreed to come back out, not because he needs a bank balance, not because he needs a career boost, but out of love. That's what he's coming back for.
His bank balance, in my opinion, will be right and well sorted once he comes back. Let me
so will all the licensees' bank balances.
Yes.
You've got to remember that these poor licensees have suffered, Jordan, this particular era, this current era. So it'll be nice for them to actually finally make some decent money, like they would have when RTD brought the show back originally.
Yeah.
So, it's not just fans, this has a wider positive effect. Doctor Who magazine out of the loop quite a lot under the Chibnall regime, including Radio Times. That will change under RTD because, as I said, Series 11 of this current era, Jodie was everywhere. She was promoted to the hilt. Ever since then, it's been dead. But I think under RTD, the promotion for his era, the 60th, will be huge. It'll be on a different level, a different scale altogether. He'll do as many interviews as possible. This is the man. You know what I mean? This is what he does. He'll just give. But you'll just see a stark difference. And let's hope that, with his good writing and his character development, he gives us some terrific stories. And then, look, if he comes back, right, 60 is a success, right, and then he does Series 14 saying that's a success. Yeah. I'm pretty sure we'll forget about the Chris Chibnall era pretty quick.
Yeah.
To be quite honest with you, look, this era has left a sour taste in my mouth. But you know what? Even after tonight, I said that I'm just gone past angry now. There's no point of upsetting myself because I know RTD is coming back, and I've already said to you, I've kind of like blanked this out of my mind now. I'm just watching because he started off interesting as he always does, Chibnall. Every season, though, was series has been the same. He'll start off with a decent enough episode, and then it just, but this one is even worse because it's all over the place. I don't even think he knows what he's doing himself now at this stage.
Remember, it's not all his fault, mate. He was in the middle of a global pandemic, and he had no option to delay. he had to get this done, so it's not all on him.
Oh, I know that, and it is a mess because of all the different factors.
I mean, the plot points would always been messy, but you know, I must say this, and this is for real: the fact that they were able to get this show out, and some of it looks amazing, by the way.
It does.
Is a small miracle. The risks that a lot of people took to film this thing, that we're all slating, was significant because people actually had to go to work during October, November, December, January, February this year to do this, and that is not a small undertaking. Yeah, it really isn't. Well, we were all tucked up at home in furlough. These people were out there in really shitty conditions to try and get this show out. So we've got to give big respect to that.
We've seen the leaked videos, where the cast be in the rain and stuff like that. Yeah, we've seen, because fans have managed, even though this has been filming under restrictions, have managed to get leaked video and stuff. So yeah, you're right. They have worked in very harsh conditions. Actually, it's been bad for them.
It looked bloody miserable.
Yeah. We'll put it this way, right? And I won't mention names. A certain person had a massive strop during this, in the middle of it. And I think a lot of that, as much as it may well have been, I don't get to do what I want, a lot of it was having to work in conditions that most of us wouldn't have done, right? So, I mean, we've got to sit and really look at it from the point of view of, it was a shit show behind the scenes, and it absolutely was, but they've managed to pull something together that's vaguely coherent.
Wow.
And if you remember, if imagine when the show was going tits up during the 80s, and it was poor Colin having to work through some of the dross he was given. Think of it as that, Yeah. This is Colin and Sylv just try to kind of punch out crap scripts, just swallow the era down, get it gone, because when it's gone, we're away to something much better. And here's the thing to remember as well. It wasn't always golden during RTD's first season. I remember when they did what was the episode where basically the guy got a blowjob for a pavement?
Oh, Loving Monsters.
Yeah. That's it. Loving dirty bastard. You got that a bit too quick.
How could anyone forget that episode? I mean, I nearly punched the television.
Right, but that's the thing, everybody was raging when that went out. Everybody was raging when the pirate episode went out. People were really pissed off when what was his name? When Capaldi, told everyone the moon was an egg. Yeah. So let's not, dress it up as it was all amazing before. There were some right rough parts before. So all I can say is we're getting the bells, and this is as close to an HBO or a Disney level of production that we're ever going to see here, right? And if Rusty does what he wants to do, and someone mentioned in the chat a little bit multiverses. Well, maybe not look at it as multiverses. Maybe look at it as who's the Avengers of the franchise. That's where everything happens, and then cool shit happens in the spin-offs. Yeah. Would it surprise me if we got Unit as a TV show? No, it wouldn't. Would it surprise me if there was a version of Torchwood? No, it wouldn't. Would it surprise me if we got a Dalek style, one-off miniseries? No, not at all. I think there's a lot of possibilities coming up here, a lot, and they've seen what happens when you do a Marvel. And think it this way: Marvel didn't do Avengers Assemble in the first Avengers movie. They teased it. They waited nearly 10 years to do it, and then you get the whole cinema standing up cheering. I think we'll scratch that. I know we're getting something really cool here. I think they'll build towards something.
He's building the whole. Basically, he's doing the Marvel style.
Yeah.
Doctor Who, and he's building the universe outward instead of just having it with Doctor Who. There'll be a whole branch off of, as you said.
But he's got to fix the brand.
He's got to fix, obviously, the main show first. Yeah, you got to fix the foundation before you start.
That's exactly that, you know. Here's a question for you now, right? See out of yourself and Ian Levine, who do you think's been the most angry over the past 5 years? I would pay cold hard cash, right, for you and Ian Levine just to go on a podcast. Obviously, we'd have to open the windows and turn the decibels down a bit, but I think that would be highly entertaining, you know.
Listen, in fairness, right, all I just want to do is be able to come on here and talk positively about Doctor Who. But I have had, in fairness though, and I don't think anybody would disagree with me here, I haven't had anything positive to talk about for the last 5 years under this regime.
Mate, I'm only winding you up. I'm only kidding.
Oh, I know that. I know you are, but I'm just saying, like, look, I hate coming on here every week and having to badmouth basically a show that I've watched all my life. It's not nice. None of us like doing it. But I'm glad, listen, that this is over. And I do know in RTD, look, I'm not, again, you are right. You know, look at RTD and Stephen Moffat. Yet they weren't always perfect. There were a few duds in there along the way. We know that more with Moffat than I would say with RTD. But the one thing that I will say is the reason why I'm confident in RTD is he knows how to develop characters, even if they're not on screen for that long. You know, he'll stretch them out, but he'll add to that character all the time. His stories are always very good, and there's always he always has other threads going through his stories as well, which he's very clever at doing. Unfortunately, the current showrunner isn't good.
See, if you want something positive to think about tonight, is tonight not 6 years since the best episode in the history of the show went out? Yep.
Heaven's Meant. Yep. Do you know what? That's still I don't care. Right? People say it's overrated. No, it's not. It's a masterpiece.
No, it's not. Not by any
episode. It's an absolute masterpiece. It's just a pity we got the next episode after it. But that episode was a masterpiece. That was just.
I didn't think the one after it was that bad. It just this was something that could have been nominated for the highest level of science fiction, you know, the Nebula Awards, and won. It was that good.
I done a piece of coursework on that episode, like a video essay that was like 25 minutes long, and I got a first in it at university.
I'm not surprised. It's perfect. You know, you've, in my opinion, the best Doctor, given the best performance in the history of the show, with the finest script. The direction is up there with Caves, in my opinion. It's proper mature adult Who. As a kid, it's still an adventure. Everything about it is top of the line. It's top of the line. It should be the template going forward for your high points. You can't do that every week. You know, you cannot do that every week because, you know, ordinary families aren't going to tune into something that somber every week. But when, you know, you can do it as your high point. You know, you can do it as your Family of Blood 2-parter. You can do it as the Silence in the Library 2-parter, or your Are You My Mummy 2-parter. You can do it as that thing. It is just, this is perfect Who. This is Who for the fans, and do it like that. It's great.
I mean, that was we keep saying about Moffat. That was just Moffat at his best. I do still believe that his best work was on that RTD, believe it or not, the episodes. But that episode in that series, Heaven Sent, it just blew me. It just blew me away. It was just perfectly acted. Peter Capaldi was just.
This is when you get an actor and a doctor that work, right?
Yeah.
And you get a director that comes in there and goes, "Oh, I've got an amazing script. I know exactly what I'm doing," right? If you look at it's the bit where everything clicks is where you get right in the performance, the camera work, the music. Is when he rushes into the TARDIS and he's imagining him telling Clara how he's going to get out the mess.
Yeah.
That is perfect. You cannot alter a second in that. Without everything about that is just fantastic, and all the way through the episode. Here's something that the show doesn't do now. Imagine having the the respect for the audience, where they're going to ask them to sit there for several minutes watching him punching a diamond wall, telling a story about a bird, and actually crediting the audience with the intelligence to understand the references, what that actually means, and to sit there and patiently watch that. The show wouldn't do that now. It doesn't have the balls to do it now.
It doesn't do it now, no.
No, it doesn't. And that's when the show was good, because it credited the audience with intelligence.
Yeah, now
That's
it's
the
just
thing.
now it's just dumbed it down and explains it and hammers it home.
Yeah,
yeah.
If you watch the what's the one? Are You My Mummy? What's that actually called? Those episodes.
It was called The Empty Child.
Yeah, that's it. Right.
Yeah.
See, if, I don't know when the last time you watched that. That could almost have been. That almost could have been filmed in a stage. Yeah. Because it is, it's in your head. It's this big sprawling adventure. Actually, when you watch it, it's a few rooms and a couple of exterior shots and some special effects. It's brilliant. With the budget they've got now and the type of stuff they've got now, they wouldn't do it. They just wouldn't do that. They're not going to slow down and have the Doctor walking into ordinary people's houses, having conversations with characters, having the time to explore the environment. That bit where Eccleston goes on stage and he's talking to the people and he goes, "Oh shit, I'm in the middle of the war." You wouldn't have that now. You wouldn't have a clever resolution with the squareness gun. You just wouldn't do any of that stuff, and it felt in period. Even what's the one where Simon Callow was in it, and it was the Charles Dickens episode.
That's Young Quiet Dead.
Yeah. Now that was just, if you sit and watch that, brilliant,
brilliant story that was actually. That's when we got introduced to Gwen Cooper actually. Yeah. On Quiet Dead, Gwen Cooper.
Yeah, it was great. And right, here's a good one that Nicholas is saying about the Mondasian Cybermen. I mean, how disturbing were they when they were allowed to just let them breathe when Moffat brought them back? They were amazing.
Yeah, they actually were. Yeah. And actually, I'll read out that super chat. It's a £5 super chat. I wouldn't mind seeing the Mondasian Cybermen return again, along with more classic era design for the Daleks, says Nicholas.
I do think it's definitely time to retire the bronze Daleks.
Yeah. I want them to go back to something that's like not the 60s, but like I love the whole white and blue color scheme. Something like that, but modernized,
modernized silver versions.
Yeah,
something
like that. And that's what I say. I'd love them to do. I've always been a big preacher. I've been banging on about this long before RTD was announced, but I want them to do up-to-date version, modern day take on a classic like the 80s console. I'd love them to do a modern version of that because I love the rivals. That's
the exciting thing about RTD returning now. We've got all of that stuff to look forward to. Who is he going to cast as his Doctor? What's the TARDIS console going to be like?
What's the costume going to be like?
What is his Doctor going to be like? What's his companions going to be like? What's the logo going to be like? All of these things now we've got to look forward to. And this is what I mean. I'm looking forward to it and coming on. Hopefully now, I didn't like his logo in 2005. I'm not going to lie. I didn't like that. And I didn't like the coral kind of TARDIS. I didn't like that. So let's hope he designs a better one this time. Well, he didn't design it, but let's hope
Brian Hitch designed that.
Yeah.
Well, let's hope it's a different one. No, don't get me wrong. It was an all right TARDIS console. I'm not going to lie, but it's not my favorite.
What's your favorite though?
My favorite is Peter Capaldi's.
Yeah, it's not.
That's a good one.
Yeah. That's definitely the best one of New Who so far.
Yeah, that's my favorite. New Who. Obviously, I like the TV movie one as well. Paul McGann.
Yeah, that's quite a good one.
Yeah.
You know what one I really liked? You know, in season 9 where they go into the old TARDIS and they change the desktop theme and it's kind of white, almost like the Apple Store version of the 60s one.
Yeah.
You know, imagine that with the technology in the Mandalorian.
That would be amazing.
If I can find this photo, Noel, and I'll send it to you, right, on Facebook. This photo here, this is basically what I would want them to do if they were redesigning the artists.
Do you want me to throw it up on the stream?
Yeah, you can. That's all right.
I'd love the round old TARDIS double doors, you know, the entrance to come back.
Yeah.
And like a kind of hermetically sealed kind of chamber, like a big huge chamber with the console in the middle, but not with the console attached to the ceiling, but something like a kind of glass kind of pattern above it, and like a kind of cylinder coming down, and then the cylinder kind of rising up and just going right in and out of it.
Well, I'm just glad that whatever we're going to get doesn't look like a spider crossed with a butt plug.
Oh, no, that was bad.
I said it to you there now, Noel.
Yeah, grand. I'm down in now. Yeah. Yeah. I've seen this photograph, I think, before, actually.
It's the crystal concept that just doesn't work for the TARDIS because I think Chibnall got the idea from one of the TV movie. It was the kind of there was a kind of drawing of the John Leakley script where you get the TARDIS kind of had the kind of crystalline structure coming up from the middle of it, and it was supposed to be kind of telepathic as well, but. That's perfect.
That is bloody awesome. But you know what I miss the bookshelves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the idea of them just having books everywhere. But you know, here's something I'm kind of looking forward to. Is not so much the designs as well, but who are the supporting cast going to be?
Yeah.
What level actor are we going to get coming in? You know, because remember, you know, look at the supporting actors that went on to be global megastars that RTD uncovered.
Yeah, sure.
Tom Ellis,
Andrew Garfield, yeah.
Billy Piper, some bloke called Tennant. You know, I mean, actual megastars. And even though he went and made an arse of himself, you know, Noel Clarke's a huge star. You know, Barrowman, this made him an even bigger star. There was huge names involved in his first round, and we're going to get huge names again. So I'm looking forward to seeing who he's going to get. I'm looking forward to his design team.
Yeah, if he got if you got your guy Ed Thomas and you know the done the TARDISes before, you know, like I can imagine them bringing back a lot of his old mates, like
Neil Gordon,
Murray Gold.
Yeah.
Okay, so composer, wouldn't it be shocked if it was Murray Gold? Wouldn't it be shocked? I would not be shocked if it was David Arnold.
I would like David Arnold to have another crack at the Doctor Who theme, in all honesty.
Yeah.
And then the title sequence is the other thing. You got to have the TARDIS in it again because the TARDIS is the kind of, you know, it's the kind of gimmick that's in it because it's got to show that for the children watching it that it's Doctor Who they're watching and the theme tune as well.
See, as much as I'd love a traditional title sequence, I would love them to do a title sequence like His Dark Materials with like executive producer Russell T Davies, Judy Gardner, series producer, like all those credits in it as well.
Yeah.
I'd love. Well, it's the same production company, mate. So I would not be shocked if that happened.
That's like a kind of modernized version of the title sequence.
Yeah.
You never know. It's RTD, so you know, as they say, the sky's the limit because you know, as it was said on the stream, you know, money is definitely not going to be a problem here.
No.
So
money's the least of their problems.
So let's just put it this way: whatever he's going to do, you know, he's not going to half-arse that anyway.
No, he's not.
I mean, you look at his work on Doctor Who and then his work after he left Doctor Who. Right now, he's
It's even
hot.
better.
He's probably one of he's probably the best British writer now. I said it a couple of weeks back. I'll say it again. Right now, he's probably the best British writer. And he's on a high. He did need to come back to Doctor Who. He's coming back because of the love he has for the show, and because obviously he has a vision and he has a plan. He wouldn't be coming back also if he didn't have complete control, which is being reported now by the mass media out there now.
That's not quite as true as how it's been reported, though. Bad Bull Production will be responsible for all the production, but ultimately the BBC is going to have a say. But they've agreed to say, look, we trust you. We're going to let you do what you want. So it's not that RTD came in and said, you must let me do this, you must let me do that. He said, look, I'll do it, but you need to give me room here. And the BBC went, yeah, we trust you. On you go. That's kind of how it came about. So, you know, there's a lot of stuff going about that. Yeah. He's not throwing his toys out the pram and he's not making demands. He's just saying, look, this is what's best for the interest of the show. He's not doing anything here out of ego. You know, what he's doing is it's coming from a very, very positive place. And I would not be stunned if the scripts we're seeing are, while some bad stuff happens in it, it's going to be a very hopeful, upbeat show as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Brilliant. Nicholas Horton just dropped another super chat. I just want to read this one out real quickly. That fan-made Power of the Dalek story from a few years back used the bronze Dalek design, but with the classic blue and grey colour scheme.
Yeah.
They did look great in that colour scheme, to be honest. They reminded me mostly of the second Peter Cushing movie.
Yeah.
I always thought the Cushing movie Daleks were quite good because they were completely upgraded from the Dalek invasion of Earth. They had the iris could move in and out, and you could see it getting bigger and smaller.
They were great.
And the lights, the lights in the dome were good as well, and they went along with the voice and as well.
Yeah.
I thought that the Daleks for that were just, it was like, you know, for the time they were probably, you know, a bit of a budget were put in them, and it's like, yeah, let's see what we can make them. And they were great. And those movies were great fun.
Oh, yeah, I love those movies.
You know,
I especially love the fact that they shoot gas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we watched them on the channel. We did watch along the Peter Cushing movies. We had,
you know what? Peter Cushing was an amazing actor. He wasn't just a horror icon. He was a fucking good actor.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. It's like the parts always had proper actors attached to it, you know.
Yeah.
It's real. I was just taking that the other day. Like, you know, yes, we've been moaning and screaming about this era, but if you look back, you know, you can look back proudly. We've been spoiled rotten with the people that were cast in the past. So
sometimes the luck, you know, sometimes with pure luck. I'll tell you who I'd love to see do the Doctor one day, and you know, two actors. One's Chiwetel Ejiofor. I think he's just an amazing actor, and him coming in and just smashing out the park would be amazing. The other one would be Robert Carlyle, but you know, as I said, never go that dark again. They would never let him do his thing with the Doctor. But he's again a proper actor. He'd be amazing. You know.
Yeah, Robert Carlyle has been mentioned over the years as well. Actually, he seems to be a very popular choice.
Can you remember the thing I dropped last October? Was that the information, and this is not happening, but the information I got was that they were looking for a Ewan McGregor type. And then that very, very much get whittled down to we're not going for McGregor, but we're going for someone very like him at his level. And there's a few actors I can think of, one of them which I really cannot say, would absolutely smash it. And when you get someone that's just a talented actor, they make bad scripts better.
Yeah.
You're watching them, you're not looking for the holes in the plot. Peter Cushing could do that. He did it every Hammer movie he made. You know, he did it in Star Wars. He was just proper.
Yeah.
I'd love to see, like, he's not as A-list as some people, like, but Martin Compston I've always liked him in Line of
Yeah,
Duty.
he's great.
He is somebody. I think he has the look for it. He really has the look for it too. You know.
He's quite a masterful actor.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to have someone that's going to have the dynamics. And
No. He's quite a masterful actor.
Yeah.
No. Oh. Right. I think.
Good boy. Yep.
I know what you mean. By
I'm with that. I think we should leave it there before anything else is said. Shh. Say no more. Say no more. But look, and listen. Thanks for joining us on the panel. Obviously, we were disappointed with the episode. We spoke about it for about an hour, and then obviously we've been talking about all this other stuff. But look, there is hope for the future of the show. It's not all doom and gloom. It might feel like that right now, but trust me. And as Gorminator said, look and listen. You know, there are things to be positive about for the future. Just, you know, Chris Chibnall's doing his thing. Just let him finish it, and we can move on to the future with a bit of optimism.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for having me on tonight, mate. It's been
no
a
problem.
pleasure.
No problem.
Lads
no
and
problem.
Queen Charlotte, I hope you're going to your beds tonight a bit happier than when you bounced into this YouTube video, because things are going to get better, mate.
Yeah, well, what was that song? Things can only get better.
Oh, please don't sing it.
Can only get better. So yeah. Well, look, we'll leave it there. Thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. Really appreciate it. We will be back here next Sunday when I do the watch along of the last episode of this series. Jesus. Then we'll have,
I know.
We'll have the panel.
Thank you, the positive.
As I said, it's kind of secondary right now because I am pumped for RTD. I am. Each week that goes by is a week closer to finding out stuff. Next year is going to be very interesting anyway, and it's going to be very exciting, even though we still have those two other specials to go. But who cares? Nobody really cares. Everybody will just be watching out for the RTD news, and I can't wait for his full proper interview when he can finally talk properly about Doctor Who. I can't wait. Exciting times ahead. But I'll say good night. Everybody on the panel, say good night.
Good night.
Good night, troops.
And we'll talk to you. I'll be on during the week. You know, I need time to digest this episode as well, though. It'll be interesting to see what the overnights are like and the AI, because it's been fluctuating, as you know. It'll be very interesting to see what impact this episode's actually had. Very interesting. Very interesting. One more week to go, and Series 13 is a wrap. And then we
I thought
right, it's crap. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
It's a wrap. Sorry.
Yeah, it's all right. Doctor Who Flux certainly has
Doctor
been
Who
Flux.
Who gives a
Flux?
We thought we were getting something decent. Looks pretty. Plenty of member berries, but hardly any substance that is coherent. That's the problem. But we'll see if he's got so many threads now to pull together. Wait till you see now. It's going to be a complete and utter mess next week. But join us for that, because it will be fun. It will be fun. No, it won't. I'll be dead. I'll be dying inside. But you know, at the end of the day, RTD is back. Who gives a shit? Yay! Right, I'm off. See you. Bye.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.